Hello and welcome to Bespoke in London for the finals of the Kiss Crit Series Europe. I'm Rebecca Charlton and we are in for a thrilling night of racing ahead. Nathan Guerra is in our commentary position now. Nathan, we've had a new race format tonight which should produce fireworks. For the first time, riders are going to be eliminated during the race.
Thanks a lot, Rebecca. Yeah, we're here in London. We've made it after 10 weeks of racing, and we have a new race format for you. Eliminations and preems are going to be on the line for points classification tonight. Super excited for the racers. The ladies are warming up for the women's race. I can see them right now. They look pretty intense out there. In about a half an hour, we are going to get going for the women's finals here in London. We've got a lot of Zwift community out here as well that you're going to be able to see out there tonight. So as you can see there's the ladies warming up. We've got Willem Prins there, Kristen Falk is there. Carrie Conover looks like absent for just a second, probably just gonna go grab something quick before she jumps out on the bike. But we are super excited for this new race format, which we do have some information about that coming at you in just a little bit actually. So it looks like the riders though I think we're in about 28 minutes from racing at this point. We are live over on Mixer right now, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So you can pick your platform tonight to watch wherever you would like to. And that's going to be it for me for now. Right back to Rebecca.
We have two races tonight. First, the women's race with 10 competitors who all made it through from the 10 qualifying stages run earlier this year. These are some of the strongest female riders on Zwift and they're warming up right now. Let's grab a quick word with them. Here's Juliet Elliott.
Hi, I'm Juliet. I'm down on the floor here with Jesper. The riders are warming up here. We've still got half an hour to go, but anyone who's tried a Zwift race knows that they go off really quick, so they're going to need to dig deep in that warm-up. I'm going to head on over and chat to one of the riders. Do you want to go and talk to someone?
Let's find somebody.
Okay, then. Let's go over here and speak to Kristen. Hello, you've been chosen. How are you feeling for the race this evening?
Great, wonderful.
And are you preparing in any way differently for racing indoors as opposed to how you would racing outdoors?
No, not really. It's basically the same.
Yeah. And how do you think you will finish? Are you gunning for the top spot, making the podium?
Aren't we all?
Absolutely. Well, good luck tonight. I'm going to take it over here and say hello to our youngest rider. Hello, and how are you feeling for the race this evening?
A bit nervous, but it's okay.
And how old are you?
14.
Wow, 14. That's really impressive. Well, we're all wishing you a lot of luck tonight. And I know that you've won, did you win the National Road Series at home?
Yes, I won. I was really happy and I cried after that because I was national champion on the road and it's always a beautiful moment when you win something like this. So.
Oh, absolutely, I completely understand that. Well, here's hoping that you're successful tonight as well. So I'm going to head on over here to our next rider. How are you doing this evening? Getting ready for the race?
Yep, warming up.
Yeah. And how have you found the 10-week series? How did you find incorporating it into your winter training? Was it useful?
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to have a break at Christmas. Yeah.
Did you find that it kept you motivated over winter? Would you normally kind of tailor off your training a little bit at the end of the traditional race season?
No. Just
Okay, well, thanks for chatting to me. I'm going to hand over to Jesper. Have you got someone over there to talk to?
See, I'm actually standing here next to the current lead of the overall series, better half. Robert Baldy, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. A bit nervous.
So, well, you're nervous. How do you think Cassie's doing right now?
Yes, I know. I'm not even racing.
She's on the far end. You've been beside her. She's raced for 10 weeks. She's all the way to the top of the rankings. Comes down to this today. How do you think she's going to do?
Well, she's been a little bit ill lately, but she'll still be up there.
She's been ill. What's wrong?
Just a little bit of flu. Messing with preparation. You know what it's like. It happens.
See, are you just saying this to mess with everybody else?
Of course.
Anyway, I hear Juliet is actually down with Cassie, and we'll see what she has to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesper. Yes, I'm here with Cassie. And how are you feeling ahead of tonight's race? Feeling prepared and up for it?
Yeah, a little bit nervous. I think we all are. Yeah, so it's exciting. It's great to meet the other riders that you've been racing with for 10 weeks. It's really cool to meet them.
Yeah, absolutely. It must be interesting to meet everyone. Did you feel like you got to know their style a little bit online? And then what was it like when you met this afternoon for the first time?
Yeah, super cool. Just different characters. Everyone's got their strengths, everyone's got their weaknesses. We all just want to have fun and race really hard. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. And what do you think, what do you make of the new format? We're going to have eliminations, and I presume that the preems are going to mix things up a little bit. Do you like preems in races?
Yeah, it's interesting, makes it a lot more fun for the viewer, I think. Makes it fun for the riders as well. And you don't know who's going to get eliminated, because you could be sitting on the back of the pack, and you just don't know. You could just be missing out on that little jump.
Absolutely. And do you find, what's your tactic with the preems? Are you one to go for those, or do you prefer to save your legs for the final sprint? Do you want to get the cash prize that they're giving out this evening?
I think I'm going to, well, it depends how it works out, really. See how I feel, give it a go on the points. Probably looking to get be in the top spot at the final, but otherwise than that, no, just looking forward to just racing, really.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for chatting to me. We're going to head back to Rebecca now.
Thank you, Julia. Fantastic to hear from some contenders there. And our youngest rider, just 14 years of age. That's absolutely incredible. Now, for those of you new to live virtual bike racing, firstly, what is it all about? As you saw, the riders are warming up for the first race, and they're riding on Tacx Neo Smart Turbo trainers hooked up to Zwift. We'll hear more about Zwift and the course they're competing on in just a moment. But first, how do smart trainers work? Well, here's Shane Miller to explain.
If you're seeing this for the first time, let's have a quick look at what the riders are using as their game controller on Zwift. Similar to an Xbox or PlayStation game where you're pressing buttons to interact with others, on Zwift, riders are pressing on their bike pedals, just like they do when riding outside. Converting a push bike into a game controller is no simple task. However, companies like Tacx have made the task both quick and easy. With the use of a direct drive smart trainer, the rear wheel of a bike is removed and the bike is mounted on the smart trainer itself. This provides stability so you can't fall off, while allowing riders to pedal as easy, or in training and races, as hard as they can. The smart trainer measures exactly how hard the riders are pushing on their pedals, which is then relayed to Zwift to propel their rider forward. In short, it's just like riding outside. The harder you push on those pedals, the faster you go. But that's not all. These smart trainers interact with the virtual environment, meaning it's harder to ride uphills than it is to ride downhills. The smart trainer adjusts the resistance accordingly, automatically. So when you see the riders tackling steep hills on the screen, they really are having to push just as hard as if they were riding the same terrain outside. Oh, and one last thing. The Tacx Neo Smart Trainer will also simulate road surface. So if you're riding over cobbles, you'll feel it. If you're riding over gravel, things get a bit gritty. And if you're riding over a plank bridge, you'll feel that ticking rhythm of the gaps between the boards. So there's a quick overview of how Zwift works and how companies like Tacx have revolutionized indoor cycling, making those previously boring indoor training sessions into a fully interactive and social environment, just like riding outside.
Which both the men and women will race on tonight. Let's hear just a little bit more about the setups. Here's Jesper.
Thanks, Rebecca. I'm here with Mariah and Micah. Is that correct?
The other way around.
All the way around, sorry. Flown all the way in from Amsterdam. You came here last minute today. Are you ready for a night with Zwift and Tacx?
Yes, I am. It really looks nice, and it's nice to see the girls competing on the Neos.
On the Neos, that is the smart trainer that they're on today. Tell us a bit more about the Tacx Neo.
The Neo is one of the newest smart trainers, and it's really direct and accurate. And we try to make it feel as realistic as possible. And we even have road feel on it, so that's pretty cool.
See, the best thing is we have 10 in here, and I can't even hear them spinning around right now. They're dead quiet. It's really nice. When you got into the industry of doing indoor training, what do you think of this? They're going to be racing next to each other indoor. Is this the future?
Yeah, this event is amazing, and we see that indoor biking is not just about training anymore. It's about fun, and we see a lot more people joining, and I think a lot more people will join in the future.
Now, is this fun?
Yes, it is.
It's also a competition tonight. There are prizes on the line. We got 10 females, 10 males. Out of this bunch, which lady is going to win it? Who do you think?
I think it's going to be exciting and it's going to be hard work, but maybe Cassie or Willemijn.
What do you think?
Yeah, definitely one of the Dutch girls. I think Willemijn is looking really strong.
Thank you very much. It's going to be a great night. Over to you, Rebecca.
Thanks, Jesper. Let's take a look now at the course which the riders will be racing, complete with the elimination points. Nathan was out riding a recce earlier. Take a look at this.
They'll be leaving the Watopia Piers, heading on over toward the volcano for a total of 37.5 kilometers or 8 laps out on the counterclockwise course. The first obstacle, there is an initial kick of about 4 or 5% these riders have to climb to get to the volcano course. As riders enter the volcano for the first time, they will notice a new feature out on course, the blue Preem banner. At this banner, points will be awarded toward a points competition within the race. This is going to intensify the race, and riders are going to be thinking about a little bit more tactics as to how they can race each other, not only for the overall, but also for the points classification. The next feature out on course is, of course, the two-tiered climb toward the lap banner. There's always big power up and over the top of this climb when we get into the volcano for the lap banner. It's the continuance into this second climb that's really going to matter for the riders. That's because another feature has been added to this course with the lap finish banner also serving as an elimination point for 2 riders on lap 6 and 2 riders on lap 7. Each lap, riders are going to have in the back of their minds, how are they going to approach this climb tactically to make sure that they're positioned correctly to not be the last 2 making their way through this point out of the race. As riders exit the volcano for the first time, they're going to find themselves on a flatter section of the course, a point in the course where they may be able to grab a little bit of reprieve and gain some composure from all of the action. Also a point out on course at which those who fall off on the 2-tier may be able to claw their way back to the group. The group will compact up a little bit at these points, but riders will definitely be thinking about the tactics for the Preem banner and the eliminations to come. Will riders save everything for the overall finish? Will they be going for the sprints and the Preem prizes? Let's go ahead and find out in all the racing action coming at you in just a few moments. There's the course, and we're super excited with it, but I'm here with a very familiar name to the KISS Racing Series. Actually, the women's overall winner, Rachel Elliott, is with us. Super excited to have her here with us, but unfortunately, Rachel will be unable to race tonight, even though she won the overall series, and we want to hear a little bit about that story. Rachel, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you.
No problem at all. We're so excited to have you here. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what has happened since you won the overall series?
Yeah, well, I was obviously really happy to be leading the overall series, and I'd got the maximum series, and I didn't actually need to do any more to continue. And it was just before the series finished. I was training one Wednesday evening, and I was 15 minutes into my session on Zwift, and I suddenly felt very dizzy. And my first thought was, as any Zwifter would also think, damn, I can't finish my session. But I managed to get myself off the bike. I thought I was just going to faint. So I lay on the floor. And I got a lot more dizzy, and my vision started to go. And I thought, this is actually quite serious. And I called the emergency services. I called for an ambulance and was rushed to hospital, where it transpired I'd suffered a brain hemorrhage, a stroke, right in the centre of my brain stem. And at that point, my prognosis was about 50-50 survival.
So this was a very dire situation.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the whole community understood what kind of a situation was actually going on
there.
So
it was a very serious stroke I had. I don't remember that evening very much. I know I did phone a few people in the community and tell them what was happening, because I wanted people to know.
Well, and the response from the community was amazing. We, the riding for Rachel that we saw, hashtag that was going on all the time, all the response that we saw in all the races continually. Yeah. We saw everyone just showing up. I mean, that must have been amazing in your recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely astonishing. I genuinely don't think I could have got through the recovery without the support of the Zwift community. I mean, it was masterminded by Glenn Knight, who's here tonight for the KISS, for KISS, so he's promoted the series.
And you ride for the KISS Racing Team. Maybe some of the viewers out there are like, what, KISS? What are you talking about? So KISS Racing Team is one of the longest standing teams out on Zwift, and Rachel has been riding and representing them really well for the longest time. How long have you been racing with KISS?
I started racing. I think my first race was in January 2017.
Okay.
So that was my first race. I did one race, and then I didn't race for a while, and then I got back into it. But I really like these E-Crit type series and the live finals, and I think it's a really great thing, and particularly getting all these ladies here tonight it's great.
Sure. So how is the recovery going then? I mean, you're here talking with me. It doesn't seem like you've had a stroke. You have an eye patch, bit of a pirate going on, but besides that...
I know. I mean, I've even got a new eye patch just for this evening with my little diamantes. But no, I mean, it's slow. I've lost quite a lot of strength in my left-hand side. My vision is obviously quite severely affected, so I can't look up, which as a time trial is quite a key thing. So I am back on Zwift. I'm just churning out Zone 2 sessions and racing.
So you're on a proper bike now, because I know that there was a setup that you had with like an iPad, and you were able to pedal like recumbent style for a while in the hospital, actually, from like almost immediately after, a little while after you were out on Zwift from the hospital.
Yeah, that was great. That was something that Glenn got together. It was a sort of desk tool that you could pedal. It had power pedals as well, and it connected to this iPad. So I was able to Zwift quite effectively from my hospital bed, which was brilliant for my recovery. It was a really sort of good way of using Zwift in a
We hear those stories all the time, right? The recovery on Zwift, like a lot of times coming back from injury, Zwift is such a huge tool for that.
Absolutely amazing. It was really, really good.
Well, okay, so awesome to have that. Now to hear that you're recovering well. I know the whole community, they're all freaking out in chat right now about it. I can see that they're so happy to see you here with us. Now, I know you can't race tonight, but what do you think's going to happen? I know you got a couple of KISS ladies. I seen them up here smiling, seeing you up here in the commentary booth with us, and they're even waving at you right now a little bit. So, you know, obviously there might be a little bias here, but do you have any predictions? I mean, you raced with these ladies week in and week out for years now almost. I mean, so do you have anybody that you're kind of looking at going, you know, I think this is where it's going to end up?
I mean, it's to me, it's actually genuinely a really wide open field. I mean, you've got Carey, who raced CVR, and she won the CVR events and put in a really strong performance as a sprinter. And obviously Cassie did very well in the series, so I know everyone's saying Cassie's a really strong favourite, but I think you've got people here like Willemijn, who she's very young, but she's won a national championship. But there's also a few dark horses. I mean, Karen Jennings, we haven't seen that much of her, but
I had a couple of messages privately saying, watch out for Karen, actually. I actually had a couple saying, you know, she's had some pretty good results in real life, actually, so maybe watch out for that.
She's really strong in real life. I've seen some of her real life performances, so there's always going to be some dark horses, so... it's pretty wide open. I'm really looking forward to an exciting race.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that, actually. And actually being in a LAN event, being in a live event like that, I think it kind of changes things up a little bit about how wide open the race actually can be, too. And then having you and Patricia not in the race today does actually open up opportunities. I mean, you've dominated every LAN race that you've shown up to, it seems like, right? Won every one of them?
Yes, I was lucky enough to do that. But I think, as you say, in most of the series, you saw a small group consisting of Cassie and a couple of others who would always get away at the front, and then there was a sort of bigger peloton behind. But I think today it's going to be a lot more compacted, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the elimination will work and the preems as well. I think it's really going to make for some really fascinating racing. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll definitely change things up a lot, I think, having the preems in there and the extra incentive to always be going at it.
Exactly, and yeah, I think there's so many incentives off tonight. It'll be interesting to see who goes for the points, who goes for the win. So I'm really excited to see how it'll go.
Yeah, thanks you so much, Rachel. We're so glad to have you here with us.
I'm pleased to be here.
All right, and that's it from us over here in the commentary box for now. We'll throw back over to Rebecca.
Thank you, guys. It really is a delight to have Rachel joining us here tonight. So it's been fantastic to be in her company once again. Now, remember that the men's race is coming up after the women, so stay with us for an exciting night of racing ahead. Time now to look in detail at the women racers with the lineup for the finals of the KISS Crit Series Europe division. The American division is taking place next week, by the way, so stay tuned for that. And here they are. Cassie Baldy is a level 25 rider from the UK with more than 19,000 Zwift kilometres and 150,000 vertical metres under her belt. She's UK national champ on Zwift and she's 30 years of age. Kirsty Harrell is a level 25 rider from Norway with more than 10,000 Zwift kilometres and 76,000 vertical metres ridden. She's a TT specialist and she's the oldest female at 53. Karen Jennings, who's British, is also level 25 with 8,000 Zwift kilometres and 73k of metres climbed. 5 years ago, she weighed 113 kilos and she's now down to 76. She's 38 years old. Kirsten Pohl is a level 20 rider with almost 4,000 kilometres and a big climb total of 26,000 vertical metres. She's from Germany and describes Zwift as an addiction. Kirsten is 30. Inja Janssen is a Dutch rider who is level 25 and she's climbed a massive 134,000 metres over 15,000 kilometres in her Zwift career. She's moved from Zwift racing to also racing outside. Inja is 28. Helena van der Bij is also Dutch and one of the most inexperienced Zwifters at level 11. Most of her 900 kilometres and 5,600 metres of climbing have been in the Kiss Crit series. She says she does most of her racing and training when the kids are asleep. Helena is 27. Frédéric Ad is French and also level 25 with nearly 6,000 Ks ridden and a climb total of 50,000 metres. She's a dedicated Zwifter who likes both the social and competitive aspects. She's 48 years old. Kari Konebel, like many of the competitors, is level 25 with 9,000 kilometres and 117,000 climbing metres in her legs. She won the recent CVR Elite Final and has to be a favourite today. She is 42. Teenage prodigy Willemijn Prince is only 14, but she is Zwift Dutch national champion. She's level 19 with a mere 3,000 kilometres and 25,000 metres in the legs. Willemijn is a real-life Dutch youth road race champion and obviously one to watch. Norwegian Kristin Falk is also level 25 with 20,000 kilometres and 202,000 metres in her Zwift history. She competes in real life in veterans and masters racing and she's 48 years of age. Let's get a sense of the atmosphere that's building just behind me at Bespoke Cycling in the heart of the City of London. Over to you guys.
I'm going to head on over here and have another word with our youngest rider. What I want to know is, what are your tactics for the race this evening? What is your plan for the race this evening? Do you have some tactics you've already decided?
I think stay in the group. Stay with the first six, I think, and then just sprint.
Just sprint? Well, that's always a good plan in a race. But what about the intermediate sprints, the preems? Will you be trying to win those as well? That would be a lot of money for a teenager to win, right?
Yes, I will try. Yeah.
Well, good luck with that. And Jesper, who have you got over there? You got a crowd getting whipped up?
Yeah, I'm standing over here in the middle of the crowd. One major factor tonight is going to be the live audience. I'm pretty certain that most of these ladies, they're used to being at home in their pain cave with the music on, the fan blasting in their face. But here we've got two main TVs where everyone can watch. See, everybody's already getting their beers, their pizza. If everybody, we've got about 7 minutes until race time. Let's make some noise for our 10 races. Put your hands together, come on. We're live here at the Bespoke shop, and we're going to watch these 10 ladies give it everything. We're back to Juliet. I hear she's looking for another rider to talk to real briefly.
Give me a second. I'm going round there. So I'm going to speak to Kirsty. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Wow, I'm amazed. So how are you feeling ahead of the race? We've really not got very much longer left. Are you feeling good to go?
Yes, I should be good to go now, because now it's not so much minute left. And but I'm like the other one, I'm a bit nervous.
Yeah, well, that's only natural, but I guess you've done 10 of these races already, so do you feel like you know what to expect, or is it different every time?
I think it's a bit different every time. So, but I just have to see how it goes and do my best.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for speaking to me. And we're going to head back up to Rebecca now.
Thank you, Julia. And now it is time to hand over to Nathan for the race itself. Good luck to all the competitors.
All right, so I think I'm going to be joined with Jesper here in just a second, but we are getting ready for some awesome racing out on Zwift. About 3:41 to the start, the 10 ladies are jumping in, and Jesper's going to jump onto the mic here with me. Jesper is with me, so exciting. They look a little bit nervous down there.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, things are about to go crazy up in here. I'd like to hear a little bit of crowd out there. Can we hear the crowd a little bit, London? Make some noise as things are about to get crazy in here for the Kiss Crit finals with the women in London. Jesper, any predictions coming from you right now?
I
mean, you did some yesterday, but I mean, anything change at all after you got them here in front of you now?
It's made it even more difficult to choose one. You just want them all to win. It's too difficult to predict because it's elimination, there's points. One thing is doing it at home in a setup you're comfortable with and you've done over and over and over again. This is like some of these ladies are on borrowed bikes. They've never ridden this Cannondale before. You were a pro racer. How would that affect you?
Yeah, it'd be a little bit. Now on Zwift, though, it's not quite as much of a difference, actually. And it looks like a lot of the ladies, actually, I believe, are going to be have unlocked in-game their Tron bike. Let's actually take a look at some of the bikes that maybe have set up tonight to see what they're actually making for a choice. I'm seeing a Cervelo here, S5 with the zip wheels. One of the faster bikes out there. That is going to be Frederique Haight there with that setup there in the CRCA kit, which is the TFC kit they're using. The Vixen ladies, it looks like here out on the Tron. Mainly, there is one on a Cervelo there as well. Vision there, mainly with the Vision setup with the Tron bikes. It looks like Tron bike being the fastest bike in Zwift at the moment, except recently, Alpe Zwift being released. I wonder if any of them have the special wheels actually have been unlocked. That would be quite the feat, though, to try and grab those.
I was going to mention that because you're mentioning the Tron bike and the Cervelos. Who has the laser helmet? Who's got the climbing gloves? Who's made all the way up to Alpe Zwift top and all the way down again? The new setup, I'm sure Eric Slang of the Swift blog, Swift Insider, he's already done all the research on that. I believe Shane Miller also, our tech guru, has looked into that. But in a sprint, in a crit, how much does that actually matter? If you were climbing uphill, yes, you're trying to save all the weight, but this is going to come down to raw power and race strategy.
Yeah, for sure. It is going to be a lot about race strategy, a lot about raw power. Now, there is the eliminations in the sprints. Did you get any hints out of any of the riders while you were down there about what some of the attacks might be, or were they being pretty secretive about how things were going to throw down?
I did get to talk to a few of them, but I wouldn't be a pretty good friend if I were to spill all the secrets. They've trusted me with some of their strategies. If I went to just put it out to everybody, I'm sure I would see some angry faces.
Yeah, for sure. Now, it is just 1 minute to race time, and like usual, I think we're going to see a fast and furious start right from the get-go. There is a little bit of reasoning for that, too, is because if you don't get a fast and furious start, if you don't ramp up, if you don't ramp up that power right from the get-go, the avatars might take off from you, and you might find yourself off the back immediately. And we know chasing off the back in Zwift, it's insane.
Especially in this race, because you have the 10 ladies only in the race. Usually when they've been racing at home, they've had hundreds of riders with them. Today, if you get dropped, there's 9 ladies in the front, and there's you all alone.
All at the back at that point. So I have a feeling they are really getting focused now. The shots there from live right now are really some intensity in the eyes now. Everybody's really starting to focus there. 10 seconds to go to the start of this Crit Series finals right now for the ladies. There's money on the line. Let's hear some noise here in the crowd, standing up and getting ready to go, and they are off here right now. We do see right from the get-go, Jansen here from Vixen right now, 538 watts, 148 beats per minute, as you can see, and she's going to be the one taking the whole shot here. Now, if they all stick together, Jesper, I don't think we're going to see too much action right from the get-go, and it might calm down. But if anybody gets off the front, we could see a TT situation.
Yeah, but they're nervous. They're twitchy. They're off now. It's the first 20 seconds. Usually it would calm down, but we see already Kirsty Hall is 1 second back, 2 second back. You know in Swift, there's that 5 to 6 meter giraffe gap. If you get beyond that, you lose that blob effect that will just carry you along like a truck, and she gets back in like a real pro.
Yeah, it looks like she does get back into that immediately, but already a little bit of an effort thrown down to make that happen. 178 beats per minute right from the get-go here. So, I mean, Kirsti here out of Norway is going to have to watch out and try and calm down a little bit, I think, to bring that heart rate back down, because wasting energy early on in this long race, I mean, we're looking at probably a 50-minute race here, and it's going to be a lot of attacks, and you probably want to save it for the sprint. I think it might break apart a little bit there, and as well as eliminations, it's going to be all about reserving energy if you maybe feel like you might not be a favorite.
Definitely. My favorite part about Kirsty, though, because I spoke to her earlier, she was already starting to trash talk the opponents and being like, I thought they'd be stronger. So we're going to see if she's got the power to back that statement up out on course. She's sitting in the back, she's drafting nicely, but look at the wattage being thrown down, Nathan. You are a big fan of throwing out numbers, looking at watts per kilo, looking at watts. Where are they sitting at right now?
Yeah, right now we do see, actually here coming from Cassie Baldy here, 5.3 watts per kilogram. She's actually putting a little bit of a dig in, actually, early on, up this little bit of a gradient onto the path over toward the volcano. So actually the riders at this point will be heading over toward the volcano, over the bridge that does give them access to that newer course out on Watopia right now. So it does look like as they do take that right-hand turn, there is a little bit of a stringing out of the riders, and two falling off the back a little bit. Cassie not messing around right now.
And also, Cassie, actually, Connerberry just completed her weekly distance goal.
Oh, was there an award that just came through?
Not
Nice.
only is she here today, but she's actually done the exercise for the week, so she's done. She could just jump off and
She
get
got
a
all her
beer.
training done. It's over. I think there's a little more on the line, though, than just the training. Now, another thing that we definitely want to highlight right now is these jerseys in game. What is that jersey right there, Jesper?
See, I've been in this country now for a year and a half. I think I can recognize the Union Jack. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it looks like Cassie is throwing down that national champions jersey actually in Zwift. We've got a few national champions actually, as we can see as well. Who else is throwing one down
Kirsten
here?
Falk of Norway.
Yeah, it does look like Kirsten Falk does have that national champion jersey as well. She's also wearing it in real life, actually. Vision Cycling has supplied a national champions jersey for her to represent here, too. Pretty cool to see the real-life representation. I think Prins will also be throwing down that Dutch national champion, too. So we have a few national champions that have some Palmares on their shoulders here to try and defend a little bit. Not defending, obviously, the national championship, but obviously they have that result on their shoulders to show off and try and represent for it.
A massive credit to Swift to actually acknowledge national championships, because they've been going on for years and years and years, but this was the first year they were officially organized by KISS and Swift, and they actually gave out an in-game item that only William or Kristen or Connerberry's got in the game. They're the only ones with that kit.
Cassie Baldy.
Is Cassie Baldy UK champion? Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, and so we do see up toward the front here, it is going to be Pool giving a little bit of a dig here. 180 beats per minute, though, as they do come through the first time through that Preem banner. Now, let's make sure that we keep everybody up to date on when the Preems will be taking place. It will be on lap 2 through the pre-march. On lap 2 through the pre-march. That's the first time through, but that's not the start of the actual lap here. So on lap 2 through the pre-march will be the first time for the points classification. And as they do get more and more points, we'll have up on screen what those points do accumulate as they go through. Now, there is going to be awards, actually, Jesper, and you did announce to all the riders right before we got going with the live show what those will be. So what is on the line here for those Preems?
There is money. There's cold cash on the line. The winner, the best, wouldn't call it sprinter, but the one that gets the most Preems, the Preem champion, will win 500 Great British Pounds. Second place gets 250, and third place gets 100. That's the same for the men's and the ladies out there. So that's a bit of strategy. Which one do you go for? Do you want to win the overall? Do you want to win the Tacx Neo and the years or lifetime use of Swift? Or do you want to win cash and take home? What is your strength? Play to that.
Yeah, and I think that we may have a few women trying to go after just those Preems that they do feel like, and I think it's going to be an on-the-moment decision maybe, like, oh, let's see how I'm feeling, let's see how the women are doing around me here, and then make that decision as it's coming at them. You know, I mean, there might just be some that are just all in for like, look, I'm going in for the cash money here in this situation, and a few others are like, I think I can win this overall. There might be a few that are just thinking about, look, lap 6 and 7, there's an elimination coming, I just got to be watching out for that.
The Preems, this is actually not the first time the Preems have been introduced in a Kiss Crit, because we were in Australia about a year ago now for the Australian E-Crit, as it was called back then, and we saw the Wolfpack, the Tasmanian Wolfpack guys, they split it up. They had Luke Ockerby, who took all the Prems, and then they had Aaron Dunn go for the overall stages. So there are teams out there. We have KRT, you have Vision, you have Vixen, several teams out there. Are they communicating, Nathan? Are they talking out there?
Are the ladies out there?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like. I mean, we do have two Kiss riders right next to each other. It looks like we are looking at Ames Janssen here.
Looks like they're
just
suffering.
now. It looks like they are suffering a little bit at this point for sure. She's actually riding for Vixen. Are the Vixen ladies next to each other? Or do we have double Vixen? Yeah, no, they're not. Carrie's actually. Actually, there's some suffering actually already going on. Look at these heart rates. They are very high. So let's get into some of the numbers here as they do make the first time in the 2-tier. In the preview video, I did mention that this is the main spot out on course that the riders need to be watching out for. This 2-tier, it's all about making that first kick up and over the top, but that is just the first initial dig. That just gets the heart rates going up at that point, and now it's going to be all about continuance. It's going to be all about going in to that second tier with enough effort to attack. We already have a couple off the back, actually. Poole now putting a little bit of a dig in, but we're seeing, no, what's going on?
What
Kona Bear, I'm not sure. 29 seconds here. Something is going on.
Oh, she lost
power?
power?
No, there was some sort of a powers issue there. She's yelling at me right now. She's going to have to come back into the race, but we do have, it looks like Van der Beek here coming out of the Netherlands, hanging on to the back. Kirsty Hull's here as well. Frederic Hay now as well. Jansen's there, and we're seeing Cassie on the front taking full advantage of the situation. 5 watts per kilogram as they start their first lap out on course here.
Where's the Vixen team car? Where's the mechanic? Where's the sports director? We got to have someone on there chasing it up, looking what's happening. They were out in full force in LA. They had tattoos and everything. One of the best teams on all of Swift. And we're sorry to hear that Conor Berry is having issues. One of the pre-race favorites for this race.
A little bit of a glass put out on course. It looks like a flat tire. We'll see if we get the team car back up with her at this point now. But it looks like Cassie here taking advantage of the situation here. Van der Beek still off the back here. It looks like, and we'll see if she can come back to it. The suffering is real at this point for her. And we'll see if she can bring this back. But it looks like at 2.8 watts per kilogram. It may be fading at this point. Now we've got Kirsty now as well, coming out of Norway, trying to bring it back for Vision Cycling, but Vision might only have one rider in the main group then. Already, it might be 3 biting the dust off the back. And Cassie is just saying, I am not going to let anybody come back to this pack. 3.7, 4.6 watts per kilogram. Cassie Baldy, UK national champion, absolutely making this an early effort to end the race early for a few of these riders.
But she's burning matches. If you look at the numbers, she's putting out 6 watts per kilo right now. Second place, you got Frederic Het. She's only sitting at 4. That's 2 watts per kilo difference. That's the difference between being an A rider and a C rider. Actually, almost a D rider. So, yes, it's a flat course. Yes, she's putting down the pace, but it's like real-life dynamics brought indoor. You can draft, you can rest if you have the right wheel. And that's what we're seeing the other riders are doing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And we are seeing it looks like the draft is in the advantage here, perhaps of Hull, if she's able to get back here, but she's still suffering off the back here. 2.8 watts per kilogram is all she's putting out. She has to put in a dig right now, or this is game over for her.
It's tough. Nathan, there might be someone tuning in right now for the first time ever and watching this on the screen. What's actually happening here?
That is a really good question, actually, Jesper. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, I know we are on the feature tab over at Mixer. We do have a lot of people tuning in over at Twitch, as well as those who are out on Facebook right now and YouTube watching. This is a massive multiplayer online game and cycling simulation at which you can actually ride a real bike, as you can see with the riders here who are live with us in this in this arena right now, battling out together. But you can also do it from the comfort of your home. And all these riders actually did so in a 10-week series leading up to this final, battling it out for points to be able to qualify to be here at this live esports event tonight. So the riders are actually pedaling with real power that you see as wattage in the upper left-hand corner. So upper left-hand corner of the screen right now, you do see the watts that are being put out actually live right now by Kirsty Pohl. And then 182 beats per minute is her actual heart rate. And those 77 RPMs is her actual RPM. So this is actually her avatar being pushed forward right now by the power in those legs. So the controller now is the power that's coming out from actual human bodies putting out this awesome effort in order to push these riders forward and compete in a cycling online game, actually.
It's virtual power, but it's real-life suffering. If you could see the faces live in the audience, as most can, They're dripping, they're soaking, they're panting, they're trying to get air down, they're trying to get the heart rate down. But it's a new environment. They've never been here before. It's a different fan. Someone that looks very comfortable actually is Cassie Baldy. She's over there. She's probably got Robert somewhere screaming race strategy to her, telling her what to do. In front of all the riders, they actually have a small button they can press. First time I've ever seen that used at a live event. Nathan, that's a power-up button. What does it do?
Yeah, so they have the power-ups over there. So they are going to be using these power-ups very scarcely, I think. The main thing that power-ups are for gaining a little bit of advantage in the game. The arrow power-up is going to be a power-up that will reduce the drag on the avatar in the game. It will reduce the drag on the character in the game by a certain percentage, which will then speed up that avatar. That's a 30-second power-up. It's the most powerful power-up by far in the game. Then there's the feather power-up, which actually reduces the weight of the rider for 15 seconds, actually. So if it is a climbing section out on course, it actually makes it so that you climb faster up any kind of a hill or any kind of an incline. Then there is the drafting power-up as well. The drafting power-up will make it so that you have to put out less power while drafting on another avatar in the game. And then there's also the bonus points, which nobody wants to see. The bonus experience points is something that you do get, but during a race event like this, when they come through, every time they come through out on the lap, they will get a random power-up given to them. And I have a feeling anybody who does get that bonus experience is just going to be shaking their heads. And a lot of them will probably just hold on to arrow power-ups until a crucial moment, I would think, Jesper.
Unless they don't have one. We just saw a drafting power being popped there in the bag. Somebody looking to get that arrow, and that is Willem, our young star from the Netherlands. But Nathan, I believe we're coming up to a prime lap pretty soon. We do have the metrics in old school money, in miles. I was brought up in kilometers. You're going to have to teach me a thing or two here, Nathan.
Oh, boy, and we're going to hear it all about that one because Nathan does the American with the miles up there. But we definitely are coming into, it looks like, about a half a lap to go after they come over the top of this two-tier. They are starting the second lap in just a moment. So the first preem is going to be getting going here in just a moment. We do see Jen here, 3.4 watts per kilogram. Now, Fredrika Haight now, it looks like Fred Haight now able to hang on to the back of the pack now. So Jen is right back on there as well. She is nicknamed Kaz Jen in the game a lot of times. Right back to the front now. Maybe somebody to watch out for. That was a very easy return to the pack, actually, Jesper. Maybe hiding a little bit of power.
I'm just looking further down. I see Connor Berry's getting a sticky bottle from the team car. She's moving up the caravan to try and get to the front. It looked like they changed that back wheel, and she's getting back in it. And Connor Berry, I've seen her sprint. Out of that bunch, she's the Mark Cavendish. She's the Marcel Kittel. And with the prime coming up, sorry, Steve Beckett, the preem coming up, that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen.
Well, it does look like we did get the team car out there, and it looks like a free lap in a crit. A lot of times in crits, you do get that one free lap with a mechanical, so perhaps that's what's being thrown out there just now. And it looks like we are going to be throwing down here with Falk now, 4.8 watts per kilogram, as they are heading in to this preem. Things are going to start heating up. It's just half a lap to go to that. Here we go with Kona Bear now flying off the front as she did get that. Probably going to calm it down a little bit, not making an attack as she did get that sticky bottle up toward the front. Now 162 beats per minute for her. Now Falk now it looks like a little bit off the back now. It looks like there is also Cassie now, UK national champion, sitting about midway through. Pole's still in there. Prince is still in there. The Dutch national champion. Kaz Jen's still in there. Fred is in there as well, and it looks like Jansen, but it is going to be Kirsty. Gone, it looks like, at this point. First one, the most likely to bite the dust off the back.
But she got a free trip to London, and she worked for it. She got here, she earned it. You can have a bad day, you can come off. No matter what happens, you can get off the bike, and there's Buckingham Palace, there's London Eye. They've seen it on Swift, and now they can go out and walk the red roads. Maybe try to get that mall sprint, see if they can beat 10 seconds.
Now the question is, how long is she going to be able to hold on here for? We also have, it looks like, though, Van de Vries here right along with her. This is an interesting situation. Perhaps they're going to be able to fight a little bit back. It looks like we are going to go to the riders now with Juliet over on the floor.
Yeah, well, what we've coming up next is the preem. Now, the preem is a sprint, and the next time the riders go through the blue arch, they're all going to be sprinting for points. Now, we have got money up for grabs, and I know that for Wilhelmine, for instance, who's a teenager, she could win quite a bit of cash, and you're going to win points for the all-important points competition. So with a preem, there are a few different tactics you could take. Obviously, you might want those points really badly, or you might want to sit in and try and save your legs. So who knows what's going to happen? Let's go back to Nathan.
It looks like they're coming into the preem here, and here we go. It looks like it's going to be Prince actually comes through with the first points. It looks like Falcon and then Kazjen after that, but that's not official. That's just from what I saw from our view here on the broadcast. But so go ahead and give us a little bit of information here, Jesper. I know you got a little bit more on that for what exact points are for the placings.
So I had the pleasure of talking to Glenn Knight earlier, the man who's organized all this behind his racing and everything. They've introduced the points racing to spice it a bit up, to make it a bit more interesting and give an incentive to attack halfway through. So first through every prime lap gets 5 points, I believe. Second place gets 3, third place gets 2, and fourth place gets 1.
So proper track racing type point situation there. Gotcha.
And then overall, I believe, how many prime laps are there again?
There's going to be 3 prime laps. And they're going to be on, just double check here really quickly. And I'm seeing I'm on lap 2, lap 3, and lap 4. So right in a row. This this points classification competition is going to be happening every lap now through the race until we get through lap 4. So all the money is on the line right now, and they're going to be watching out for that. And it was actually, they waited till the last moment, actually, it looked like, to make those final attacks across the line. It did catch them a little bit off guard.
It could
and
be
Wilhelm
they didn't
coming
know.
through there, though, Jesper, I was a little bit taken back by that. She's kind of keeping things quiet, it seems like, and suddenly comes through and takes that 5 points down.
But in a world where weight is everything, everyone in Swift, they don't ask about power steroid. They say, Nathan, how much do you weigh? Jesper, how much do you weigh? And then there's internet weight and real life weight. Everyone here has been weighed on the same scale, in the same scenario, on the same kit. And William, being that size, she's going to have a massive advantage.
So we're doing 3, 2, and 1, actually, it looks like. It looks like 3, 2, and 1, it looks like, for the points, actually. We'll see if that's 100% there, but it looks like William's taking it. Kristen Falk, then, and it's going to be Karen Jennings there for 1 point in the third place. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference, actually, between all of those, as long as you are going for them. I believe that's going to be where things are at for the point totals. So we are seeing, it looks like, Pool here making our way to the front. Now it's going to be about a half a lap again until the preem. What's going to be interesting as they make their way up and over this little bit of a climb in the toots here, whether or not anyone's going to attack and just try and get away. It does look like Pool is trying to go for it. The German rider here now absolutely killing it on the front, 4.6 watts per kilogram. Here comes a Kiss rider, though, it looks like. Kazjen with a feather power-up, actually. 4.6 watts per kilogram, trying to put a little bit of hurt in. Maybe taking advantage of some riders that might be a little bit tired after that sprint.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely KRT's up to something here, because they are, no offense, they are the underdogs here. They have to prove something to beat the Cassie Baldy, to beat Connor Berry, to beat Young William. So they're going to have to do something, and they have the power in numbers. We're going to see if eventually they're going to go on to the attack. But next up is the preem lap once again, and this time I believe the riders do know what's happening, and I think we could see a longer lead into it, because the other preem was like, oh, it's there. Kirsten Falk goes off the front. Yes, she read the race Bible. She was on top of it. It happens. It's like any other race. It's your responsibility to know what's going on, Nathan.
Yeah, for sure. That's it is on the riders for sure for that responsibility. But here, as far as the overall standings were for the series, actually for the 10 races, looking at that, it is going to be Kiss actually 7th and 8th. Kazjen and Kirsten Pohl were able to take actually for the overall, so they do stand a little bit behind. Carrie Koneberg, Kristen Falk, Cassie Baldy were ahead of them in the overall series. So yes, you were correct there. I think talking about maybe being a little bit on the back foot, at least in the overall in the overall for the series. But now we have the live racing. Now we're all on the same equipment. Now they're like, all right, maybe we can throw down here and be a wild card and maybe have a little bit of upset compared to what was happening for a change up in the racing here today. And actually, now we do have a correction on the points here. We do have Wilhelm Prins there with 5 points, Kristen Falk with 3, Karen Jennings for 2, and Kirsten Pohl with 1. So that is your top 4 situation. 0 points for the rest. Now, do you think that anybody's going to go for it, or it's done at this point? Let's let those 4 battle it out. I think we might see them maybe give up on the points series, but we'll have to see here. No, you don't think so?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I think somebody's now is awake to it. It's going to give it a go. I'm looking at an Inge Janssen, who I've seen before. She knows what she's doing. They're going to try to do something with Vixen, maybe get Connerberry to get the overall victory and work Inge Janssen towards the points classification, because that's what it's all about. It's getting both your team members on the podium somehow later on and getting to pop that champagne together.
Yeah, and here's the avatar of Inge Janssen here. We are about to head into the sprint here in just a moment. We're looking at Willem Prins now as well. She's the current leader there. We're currently going into lap 3. So we are in lap 3, actually, excuse me. We will be having another sprint in about a lap from now. 2.5 watts per kilogram currently coming from Janssen, who's just taking a chill, looks like the back, maybe just saving up some energy and going to be trying to go for that next sprint. It is pretty calm in Grupo Compacto at this point, it looks like, as we do have, again, Cassie Baldi on the front. And, you know, this is the same way she played it, actually, throughout the series. You know, we commentated a lot of those races. I remember this exact same situation. Cassie would go to the front and just make it hurt over and over again, playing a similar card here that we would see coming from Rachel, except for Rachel would just break the pack right from the get-go and ride away from everybody. No riding away at this point, but still keeping it, keeping everybody honest, I think, at the front end of the race tonight, rather than letting people just kind of sit in and not have to do too much work.
That is a storyline, though, because I'm looking at Swift Power, the great Swift Power. Rachel Elliott, next to her name, is only gold trophy. She's won basically everything. These ladies, this is their chance to do something, as we see orange numbers coming up again. Now, we have an attack.
Now, I don't believe we are on a sprint lap, though, here at this point. And it looks like here coming through Carrie Connerberry now, 7.9 watts per kilogram, taking it down now as we are, I believe, on lap 3 now at this point at the Prime Arch. So this is a sprint lap, and they did just go down for it, and it's going to be Carrie Connerberry from Vixen. Now 4.4 watts per kilogram from her currently. She was able to take down those sprint points.
Great sprint from Connerberry. Everybody on the floor down there in the Bespoke Shop, what did you think about that sprint? Let's put your hands together, because these ladies, they're suffering. They're going for the points.
You guys, yeah, and we do see Prince here. It looks like 3.4 watts per kilogram now, sitting in a little bit. She was the leader of that competition just a moment ago. We've got one more lap of sprint points in just a moment. 191 beats per minute. Maybe a little bit of a little bit of too much effort maybe out there. Suffering 14, a little bit at this point. She is 14. The heart rates tend to beat a little bit higher for the younger riders.
Yeah, because in relation, I'm 22. My max heart rate is 209. If you take 8 years off that.
That is a butterfly.
Yeah.
And now here's the points totals. Willem Prins still with 7, as you can see here. Connerberry with that W in this last lap here takes down 5, so she's right in there for that second place. Kristen Falk now sitting in 3rd with 4th. Cassie Baldi there with 3 points, actually jumping into the board now as well. Karen Jennings 2, and we are seeing Kirsten Pohl with 1. So a little bit of a change up there. Prins though still able to hold on to the lead.
And with one Prem lap left to go, anyone can win. Any of the top 3, top 4. It's gonna be carnage.
Yep, there's 5 points on the line actually. So with the 7, with the 5, and the 3 there, anybody there could take the W, depending on where the other riders that are ahead there with the 7 and the 5. Carrier's got 5. We've also got Prince there with 7. She's put herself in a good position. All she's really got to do is maybe take that 3rd or 2nd place and hope that somebody else doesn't take too many points away from her. If Connerberry does take the W on it, she would have to hope though that Prince is not in 2nd place. So it's going to be very tactical here, I think, to make just enough effort to grab it, but not be taken out in the elimination.
At what point does nerves come into factor? You're 14 years old. You're on the biggest stage of Swift racing. You're leading the points competition. 1 left to go. How do you play that?
Yeah, I think also, though, I think this is a champion we're talking about. She's been here many times before as far as the competition goes in real life. She's done it out on Zwift before, maybe not in a real-life environment like this, but I think she knows how to race her bike. She'll be calming herself down, bringing that heart rate down. We already see it down, dropping about 3 or 4 beats here. So it's going to be, I think she's definitely going to be So I think we're definitely going to be having a situation where she's just calming herself down, keeping it cool. As you can already see, she is making her way to the back of the pack now at this point. So definitely just calming herself down and reserving as much energy as you can see here right now.
So this arch is completely new to the circuit. They've never seen it before, especially made for this event. Now they know, 2 times down, they know when it's coming up. who is going to lead it out early? Who's going to try to go for that long sprint?
That's the thing, is like they've been kind of keeping it calm up until this point. We are seeing a drafting power-up coming out there from one of the riders. There is a Vixen rider, it looks like here, that is throwing that. It's going to be Carrie Koneberg here now from Vixen with that drafting power-up. 168 beats per minute right now coming from her, and she's definitely going to be looking for an arrow power-up. The funny thing is we haven't seen too many power-ups for the sprints actually here at this point, but with that on the line, she's probably looking for that arrow power-up. This is the deciding lap for the sprint competition.
This is exciting. I hope everybody out there watching, whatever platform you're watching, whatever channel you're watching, you're hoping in the chat right now you are sharing some love on whoever you're supporting, whether it's Koneberg, Kristen Falk, Cassie Baldi. Share some love. Give some ride-ons in the game. There are the blue thumbs that come down, and they can see that you're actually cheering on them in the game. And Nathan, we've got the standings.
Yeah, it looks like we do have Prince here, 7, Koneberg, 5, Falk, 4. 3 for Cassie Baldi there, the UK national champion. Karen Jennings there with 2 and Kirsten Pohl with 1. Still money on the line for those bottom 3, though. If they do take a W in this preem, they will be able to jump ahead a few of the others there. So those are the ones that are really going to be watching out for this. I don't think anybody else has a chance really that are outside of those points right now to grab a top 3. What's on the line for these riders? 500, 250,
and 100.
And $100.
That is still a good payday to take away.
Euro.
It is Great British pounds.
Great British pounds.
Pound
Great
sterling.
British pounds are on the line.
We're coming
here.
up
so
to it now.
Falk here, 2.6 watts per kilogram on the front, keeping it calm. It's definitely Grupo Compacto, Jesper.
Yeah. It's just interesting to see now because now they're starting to get nervous. Now they're starting to get ready because this could be the last chance for many of them because after this, it's the elimination rounds. So if you get nothing from this and you get eliminated, what did you get away from this? What did you actually do? So somebody has to try something now.
Yep, that's for sure. And I think we're going to see it in just a moment here. Here we go. We're coming into the last half of a lap, and it looks like we're going to be watching Koneberg. We're going to be watching Prince. Those are going to be the ones for sure that we're going to be watching out for this sprint, as they're going to be the ones that are going to be sprinting it out for this effort now. As we are seeing, it is going to be on the front now. It is still Pohl leading things out here. Then we do see Cassie Baldi here leading things out a little bit too, 5.4 watts per kilogram. She seems to be kind of putting a little bit of a dig to try and grab some points perhaps here. Now calming down. It's all about not too much, but not finding yourself off the back. That's what it's all about in this sprint right now. Falk now from Vision, Norway. We hear the crowd ramping things up. The cheering starting. They're coming into it there. There's the banner. Here comes an arrow ball. Koneberg. It's Koneberg.
Oh my God.
10 watts per kilogram coming from Carrie Koneberg, but no, is she going to be able to make it happen? Now here
Cassie's
comes Baldi.
going for this.
Cassie's going for
Cassie.
it. It's going to be Cassie Baldi across the line. Second place going for Koneberg, and it looks like Falk right at the line. I think was able to steal from Prince. 1 point for Prince. What's the situation? I think I think Koneberg just won it.
Now the question is, what if it's tied?
That is
Who
a
thought
great
of a
question,
tiebreaker?
actually. I'll have to get some talk back there about the about if it is
Let's
a tie
look at the
there.
racing, Nathan. There's
Here it
points.
comes. There's the replay now. It's Koneberg, it looks like, but no, at the last moment with the arrow power, Cassie Baldi comes through with 525 watts at that point.
While this is
Now,
happening, though, Nathan,
while it's
everything
happening,
is split
there's a
up.
break. There's a break. Someone's taking advantage of the tired legs. Falk, 4.4 off the front. Baldi's going right along with it. It's going to be pulled now as well. Off the back, trying to make the chase. KRT is going to have to bring
They
this
have to
back
work together. 2 seconds up to the front. That could grow out quick from Kirsten Falk and Cassie Baldi. Are they looking at each other? Are they saying anything? Are they working together? Oh
And it's
my God!
3 for a tie.
Where's Glenn
Oh
Knight?
my goodness! I think it'll most likely be a decision from who took the last one. I would assume.
Wow.
So we'll have to get some officiating on that one. But what amazing battle! Tied up at the top, 8, 8, and 8. Amazing racing all around. Look at the suffering on the face now. The focus coming from Wilhelm now at this point. And off the back is Koneberg, who put everything into the pedals for that effort now. As you can see, I think it was everything she had on the line to try and take down that sprint.
What's happening now, though, is that as we're looking at this, next up is the elimination rounds, but the pack is already dwindled out so much that first up, Hall and Van der Bosch, they will be eliminated, but they're already out of the pack. Next up is Jen and Connerberry. They're already out of the pack.
Yep.
So
we already have our top 6 if nothing changes.
So
if nothing
they have a
changes,
rest.
we have our top 6, and the elimination will happen no matter what. But unless they work together and bring things back. Unless they work together and bring things back. We're looking at Fred Haight here, and it looks like 4.1 watts per kilogram. Vixen now off the back, as you can see here, 3.2 watts per kilogram as well. Let's get back in with Kirsty Pull. It looks like 3.7 watts per kilogram. Arrows being popped behind there. It looks like Jansen now trying to come back to it. Prinz is in there now as well. She was able to bring it back, and actually, Prinz here, as you can see, 3.5 watts per kilogram coming from her. She was able to come right back into the race now, and she is no longer off the back, able to take down at least, I think it's a third place in that preem situation for the points classification, and it looks like we do have our lead pack now at this point.
So we're looking at it. The commissaires are getting together, and they'll have a look at the end of the race to determine who actually takes home the prize, because we had a 3-way tie for first place, which, when they put the rules together for this event, I don't think in his wildest dreams Glenn Knight thought this scenario would happen.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right there, actually. I mean, there was quite the battle out on course for those points, actually, and the riders at that last moment were able to tie it all up, and but that effort there from Cassie, pretty amazing and pretty tactical there with that arrow power up, actually.
But as we saw, this time the racers were completely aware of the situation. They played it to their cars. We saw arrow power ups being popped. In the end, Cassie Baldy went over the line first. It was a great attack, but we'll see what's going to happen now, because they're halfway through the race. Legs are starting to get tired. What's going to happen now?
Cassie's looking pretty strong at this point, though. 170 beats per minute. She's been able to cover every move and still had something left for that final situation, actually, for that preem. And so I have a feeling Cassie is definitely a threat. Your predictions yesterday seem to be right on.
Yeah, but it also helped that Cassie was in the London office. We had a good an-hour chat with Robert and Cassie. They were trying to convince me why I should support them, vote for them. So
look at the suffering right now. Look, that little bit of smile, though.
There's not a single drop of sweat on that face. You could, perfect. She could go for another hour or so. She's ready to go up the Alpe de Swift. When does the real racing start for Cassie Baldy?
That's for sure. It looks like she's definitely looking pretty comfortable at this point, hammering away, pretty happy about the preem situation too, I would think, at this point. A little bit of cash in hand. Now, we do have Kirsty Pull coming out of Germany, hanging on that wheel, 180 beats per minute. She is performing very well tonight, actually. We are seeing a 7th place overall in the series, actually, and didn't take any W's, actually. So perhaps one of the wild cards who shows up with the situation here on course, actually. We do see a rider here calling out for water, actually.
Oh, it's Amy
lots
Janssen.
and lots of water has been
She's
consumed
in that
out
front
here.
group,
in the front group, saying, "Give me a little bit more support here from the team car." Team Vixen getting support from none other than Zach Rogers out on course right now. Getting the team support, giving us a little wave, Zach Rogers. Good to have you out here. And it looks like now at the front here, Kirsty again, 178. Cassie now, 3.4 watts per kilogram. Prinz, and it is Jansen. That is our front group. Now, is no women's land at this point, out in the middle of nowhere. Frederica Haight now going to have to try and claw her way back. I don't think it's going to happen, though. These ladies at the front are not going to let anybody come back, I don't think.
She did Team TFC pretty proud, though. She qualified all the way to the finale. She's still up there. She's still battling all the way from France. One hell of an effort to get this far in this group. I believe we have 3 laps left, if we're looking at what's left out on course, until we get to that grand finale where the winner will take home a Tacx Neo, probably one of the most quietest home trainers to have at home, and also a lifetime supply of Swift.
Oh, lifetime supply of Swift, Willy Wonka style.
What would you do with a lifetime supply of Swift?
What would I do?
Ride Swift all day?
Just right. I already do ride Swift all day. So I mean.
When's the last time you raced?
Oh, now the shots are being fired. When's the last time Nathan raced? We'll leave that one alone for now. But we are seeing up toward the front end of the pack here. It's going to be Cassie. It's going to be Pull. It's going to be Falk. It's going to be Prinz. It's going to be Jansen. Let's talk a little bit about each of the riders actually that have made this lead group. So looking through, we did see Pull did make. It looks like 7th overall for the series. Kaz Jen, who is off the back, that was a part of the team, so she will not be making this lead group. Did take 8th. Fred Haight there with a 9th place overall. Then we are seeing Prinz, I believe, with 11th overall in the series. She's one of the wild cards, then it looks like, who's been able to actually show up in the live event here and show that she's got the power to throw down.
But she came late into the race series. It's a long race, 10 races where your 7 best races counted. But looking at over there, she only had 7 races to actually race in, so there were no odd ones out where maybe you had to go to bed early or food was on the table. You know, commitments, responsibilities, anything can happen in Swift racing. But she's here and she's showing up and she's doing really well right now representing that Dutch national championship. We've got 3 national champions out of 5 in that front group.
Yeah, 3 national champions in the lead, representing their countries well right now, plus the kids racing team out there as well, coming out of Germany, and then Team Vixen there. As far as the teams go here, what do we have for the... And so for the teams, we'll get into the teams in just a moment, but it looks like we are going to have a live interview here with Jennings, Karen Jennings, who is off the back to see how her racing is going.
So I'm here with Karen. Karen is unfortunately a minute and a half off the back. What's going on, Karen? How are you doing?
I've been disqualified because on one of the power-ups, if you hold it down too long, you get 1200 watts draft thingy. I must have pressed it down too long, I got that, so I knew I was out of the race and disqualified, so.
Oh, that must be hugely disappointing. So it didn't go exactly how you were expecting, but you're carrying on regardless. And who have you got your money on for tonight's finals?
Oh God, I'm really hoping my teammate, Kristen here, would do the job, and I reckon she will.
Great, well thanks for talking to us. We'll go back to Nathan now in the commentary booth.
Yeah, and it looks like that's too bad to hear about the power-up situation there, but on the front...
watts.
So, yeah, it looks like there was a DQ there. Right now, with the special build that is in game, there is a situation that if you do hold down the spacebar for too long, they will get a little bit too much wattage, actually.
So what happened is the great John Mayfield created a special version of Swift just for tonight's event. Unfortunately, there was a bug in the equation that if you hold it down too long, suddenly your aero boost becomes a power boost. So she went nuclear. It was part of the rules. They were briefed, so she didn't know going into it that it would happen. Unfortunate, but rules are rules, and we wish the best to Karen Jennings.
Yes, we do, for sure. And looking through here now at the front, we do have, it looks like, about how many laps do we have left to go here at this point? I believe we are heading into 4 laps to, is it 4 or is it 3 laps to go? We are 15.8 in total at this point. And Falk now here, 3.2 watts per kilogram. Elimination is coming up pretty soon here, actually, I'm hearing. And it will be, Karen Jennings will be one of the eliminated riders here in just a moment. There will be a little bit of stuff on screen about that in just a moment. And then there is still a battle, though, for the next elimination coming in between Kona Bear and Fred, actually, as she hangs on to Kona Bear's wheel, as you can see. On lap 6 here, elimination lap, last 2 riders, there will be... it will be a little bit of a situation here between, actually, it is not going to be between these 2 riders, actually, as Fred and Kona Bear are going to be ahead of the last 2 riders behind here. So it is going to be Jen, and then it is going also to be Vanderbeek here, who are going to be eliminated from the race, I believe. No, excuse me. I'm trying to click through here and find the correct riders here, but it is Jen for sure. And then off the back as well, we are looking through here, and it is also then going to be a battle between Fred and Kona Bear.
We'll have the race commissioners explain to us who has actually been part so we can take the official results when we get there. It is interesting to see that due to the points sprint out on course, the peloton was split so much apart that the elimination sprints or rounds didn't really matter that much in the women's race, but after this we've got the men's where it's Kim Little, Tim Cartwright, Tom Hargreaves. Maybe in that race the elimination rounds will come into play, but this is the very first time in Swift racing history that elimination rounds have been introduced into racing. So We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. And so we are actually seeing, I was correct there actually earlier on, Van de Beek there, and as well as Kirsti Hull will be eliminated next time through, barring amazing, crazy wattage. They're not eliminated yet. They got to get through the banners first before that happens. But it looks like they will be the first ones. We'll give them a ride on, though, for their efforts that they made out there. And also an amazing effort through the 10 weeks to make it to the live finals here. Then a little ways up ahead, we do have Konebear and Fred, who are a part of this first chase group out on course. Or excuse, is that correct then? The first chase? They are part of the first chase group out on course right now. And then the lead group is going to be Jansen. It is going to be Prince. It's going to be Falk. It's going to be Pull. It's going to be Cassie Baldy at the front end of this race.
That's a lot of talk about the riders who've done their best to get here, but there are riders that are still at the front who's got a chance now to win the big bucks. Out of this group, Nathan, you've covered the racing. You watched them suffer day in, day out. Who do you think is going to take this?
You know, here's the thing. I'm not going to judge it off of what I'm seeing from the overall series, right? We've got a different situation here. We've got a live event. They've never done anything like this before amongst each other, amongst these specific women, you know what I mean, all together in the same place. And, you know, from what I've seen today so far, I really think we've got a couple of favorites here with Cassie. I'm looking at Cassie, has been very comfortable so far. I've been watching Prinz as well, who's been able to respond to just about anything. Konebear, who's definitely a threat, who's shown herself to be a serious threat in any live events, winning the CVR in the last race that they did over in LA. And I have a feeling that with her out of the mix, those two are going to be ones to watch out for. But I have a feeling you might have a little bit of a different call there.
See, I love Cassie, but Robert told me she was in the hospital not too long ago. When we get to the very intensive part of the race, we'll see how that's going to hold up. I'm looking at Kirsten Falk here from Vision. She's got the Norwegian National Championship kit in the game. She's got it in real life. She was very confident when I asked her earlier what she's going to do when she wins. She didn't say, I don't know if I'm going to win. She says, yep, I'm going to use that Neo. I'm going to have fun. She's in it to win.
The confidence is there, and the experience is there as well. We've seen her many times with Cassie off the front, actually. Her and Cassie and Patricia Engelman, actually. Patricia did not make it to, did not accept to come to the finals here, but we're always off the front in those races. It was Rachel Elliott off the front, absolutely gone throughout the 10 race series leading up into this, and then it was Patricia Engelman, Cassie Bald, Kirsten Falk, always were the three. I think Falk might be looking for a little bit of payback from a lot of for a lot of sprints that might have been lost there through that 10 race series.
Did you know she was recently in Mallorca as well?
No, so a little bit of training going on out in real life. Some mountains I think were climbed.
Because the first thing I saw was she was tan all the way down, and being Norwegian, and I'm Danish, I know up north we don't get that sort of sun. So she's definitely been off trying to get ready for this live finale, and she's looking poised out on course.
We just saw those live shots there just a moment ago of Kirsten Falk, and she looked pretty calm, actually. Give a little smirk almost there and a little bit of a head nod to the right-hand side of the screen there, watching Prinz a little bit. I actually saw her look over at Prinz's screen there, maybe saying, well, what's going on with the heart rate? How's the power going there? Are the riders looking at each other, too, to see where they are with their suffering? Is there some faking it to make it there with the pain faces?
Well, that's one thing you can't do in real life. In real life, you can't ride over and look at the Garmin or the Wahoo, whatever they're doing, and read their numbers. Here, they're literally shoulder to shoulder, and they can look over to the screen next to them and see the power, see the cadence, see that heart rate up in the left-hand corner in that blue box. They can see the numbers they're putting out. They can see the face, the power. They will know if they're suffering. There's no... Well, there might be, but I assume there won't be much poker play today.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I have a feeling it's just going to be everything. When you're suffering out on Zwift, there's definitely not a whole lot of poker. But now we are seeing a feather power-up, actually, at this point, coming from, it looks like Prinz, actually. 184 beats per minute, though. I think she's just getting rid of it, reserving some energy, and looking for that arrow power-up, actually. I mean, we've seen her all the way up to 190s. So I have a feeling that there really isn't any distress there. I think that's just looking for some reservation of some energy on a climb, and then looking for an arrow power-up this next time through.
She's been using that power up every time. It's been a draft or feather. It's really vital to get that aero power up. We've seen so much Zwift racing that we know that the aero power up matters. Aero power up coming down to a sprint. It will take even the most mediocre sprinter up to the level of a Mark Cavendish, up to the level of, let's see my knowledge of female sprinters up there. Chloe Hoskin recently won the Commonwealth Games. it really does make a massive difference out on course.
So we are looking the images here of Fred Haight, and we are also looking at it looks like Carrie Conabear, and they are actually in a battle right now to stay in the race. The person who's the person who gets across the line first right here will actually not be eliminated from the race.
Oh, they're going for it.
I mean, this is an all-out battle here for the finish line. It looks, or for the elimination. I believe this is an elimination at
they're next to each
lines
other
here right now. They're actually right next to each other.
Oh,
Carrie now kicking just a little bit. They're on lap 6 of 8 here now at this point, and they are battling it out now to this line. I'm being told.
Everything she's got her that
right
this
now,
is it.
Carrie Conabear, 6.5 watts per kilogram to try and stay away from, it looks like Fred, and it looks like Fred might be getting dropped. The gap is there, but no, she brings it back here. Now look at Carrie over in that almost TT position, giving everything she can.
Who's it going to be?
Fred, and Fred's giving it to 4.8 watts per kilogram, 5.8 now from Carrie Conabear. Can she hold on? She's got a drafting boost. The drafting power-up might be able to make it happen. Conabear up and out of the saddle.
Everything
trying
you've
to
got.
give everything she's got. Fred's there as well.
No
it's right
way.
to the line. Conabear just barely pulls it off. Is able
Round
to
of
hold
applause,
on. Look
everybody.
At the face. Give it the applause.
Well done.
What an effort there to hold on. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. Carrie Conabear stays in the race. What an effort there from Conabear.
Massive shout out to Carrie's partner out there who actually visually communicated that this was a heads-up race for the elimination race. You could see her make eyes and then make points on it.
And so it looks like now back up toward the front of this race now. We do have Poole here, it looks like, along with Cassie Baldy. Now, as well, it's very Grupo Compacto at this point. Very much. I mean, they're all just kind of watching each other, just looking at each other, keeping it calm. They know no one's coming back at this point. They know it's just between the 5 of them. What do you think's going on between their heads at this point? Well, actually, we can find out right now as we are going to Juliet with a little bit of an interview.
Well, that was a really, really close, thrilling sprint. Let's hear from the riders how it felt. Did that go how you expected?
No, not at all. It felt like it was never going to end. Fred's my match. We're pretty good on our powers together, so pretty evenly matched. So that was tough.
And did you realise that that was coming up? It looked like all of a sudden you guys were like, we've got to go.
I thought, no, I thought we were done. We just could go easy to the finish, but.
Yeah, well, we really mixed things up today with the points competition, and so that kept everyone on their toes, I guess. And for the race in general, did it go the way you expected? Was there a moment where you realised it wasn't quite going to plan, or talk me through it?
I didn't expect to burn out after the sprints, but they were pretty hard sprints and just couldn't keep up. Had to go easy for a while and we got dropped, so.
How have you found the whole experience of racing the 10 series, the 10 race series? Will you be racing again next year?
It's next year, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, it's been great having you here. Let's go back to Nathan in the commentary booth.
All right, well, we are coming into the last lap and a half, actually, here. 32.1 kilometers in. It's a 37-kilometer race. We still have our lead group all together here. We've got Prince, we've got Poole, we've got Falk, we've got Jansen, we've got Cassie Baldy. Actually having to give it a little dig now at this point, as we are seeing 9 watts per kilogram from her. Maybe getting caught a little bit off guard, having to waste a little bit of energy, and that's what's going to be all about at this point. Having the energy left to follow any attacks into the final. This is going to be for the top 3 for those prizes that are on the line.
Imagine the motivation behind this. They've done this for 10 weeks now. It comes down to the last 5.5 kilometers of racing. It's the glory, it's the prize, it's the cheers from the crowd. I'm pretty sure they're going to push themselves to the limit and then a bit more.
Quite the palmares to have on tap, actually, you know, having that on your resume with Zwift Racing here, that you were able to win the First Kiss Crit Europe Finals, actually, after 10 weeks of racing and then making it here. You're into that last lap coming up here in just a moment. You know that they're going to be trying to reserve as much energy. I wonder if we're going to see a flyer off the front. My experience here is that Jansen has the sprint. I mean, she's going to be waiting for for that sprint situation. Falk, I know, has a very good timing and technique with those sprints as well, but I'm not sure she can match it here. Do you think that we're going to see somebody try and get away? Cassie, usually one who's won in a breakaway too as well. There might be too many for her in this situation that got a pure sprint. Do you think we're going to see somebody go for that TT off the front?
I think Cassie has to. I think Cassie is strong enough to do it now that Rachel's not here, Patricia's not here. I think Cassie, if she dares to do it, could hold it, but it's such a ballsy move to go off the front in a swift race and hold it all the way to the end. It's going to be exciting to see as we're coming into the final lap now. Who's going to be the very first ever EU Tacx crit champion for the Lacey?
Yeah, that is a great question, actually. Who's it going to be? Cassie now giving a little dig up toward the front here. Now your UK national champion, Norway national champion now with Christian Falk now making her way to the front as well. Nobody really given any kind of a dig just yet. We do see the ride-ons coming on through. Let's see all the Zwift community jump on your Zwift companion app right now, and let's see some ride-ons on all of these ladies' avatars right now. Let it rain, the ride-ons. Give the encouragement in game right now that we want to see, as they are all going to give everything they have to try and get that first place prize that Tacx Neo will be coming home with after making their way to London here. Pull on the front now, 3.2 watts per kilogram, 179 beats per minute. Let's take a look at some of the metrics we currently have. 168 here coming from Cassie. I know that she's right around that tempo pace for her at this point. Falk here, 168, 167, also tempo to threshold. Their heart rate's definitely raised at this point as they've put out a lot of effort. Now Cassie, we're seeing going into the bell lap. Jesper's bringing it here. We can see now 4.8 watts per kilogram through coming from Cassie.
You got to be careful now.
She's trying to break it a little bit after that second tier, Jesper.
It's going to be exciting to see if that actually goes, because that was on the bell itself. She tried to go off the front. She's got two ladies with her. And we got Inge Janssen.
There's a break. They're trying to get rid of the sprinter.
Oh, my goodness. This could work. Prince and Janssen, they both speak Dutch. Are they working together right now? Are they saying, let's take turns, let's get back to the front and try to get into that sprint? 2 seconds is the equivalent of minutes when you're here now. It's so tough.
Only 1 lap to go. 3 seconds off the back. Prince has been caught out. Now she's going to try and drag it. Looks like a Janssen
she goes
back
right
up. But Janssen
Inge.
unable to hang on. Inge there now, it looks like 4.8 watts per kilogram, 7 meters off the back. Prince with an arrow. She's got an arrow, but that's an arrow too early. She needed that for the final.
But
and now she has to use
it.
7 watts per kilogram. I think she got caught off guard. And now we're seeing 4.3 watts per kilogram coming from Prince. Now 191 beats per minute. There is the clawing back. Inge Janssen off the back, not going to be back in this. 1.2 watts per kilogram. She'll most likely take a 5th on the day. 192. The heart rate's already way up there. Look, the watts immediately come down from that first person point of view there coming from Prinz. Now 190, the Dutch national champion, letting herself be known as somebody still to be reckoned with as she's brought her way back. Now the images there coming from Cassie Baldy, UK national champion out on Zwift. Super serious look on the face there, Jasper.
She is really digging into it right now. Just one quick mention on William Prince. When she rewatches this later to watch the broadcast, she'll be kicking herself that she had to waste that aero power up before the sprint. It's so vital when you go in there. And I bet you right now, and the spectators can see this on the screens, what power-ups they have. Falk is going to have an arrow. Cassie's going to have an arrow. Paul's going to have one too. But William Prince is not going to be having one on the screen. You can see Cassie on the left-hand corner.
25% CDA reduced, reduction of drag from that aero power-up that Cassie Baldy does have. So she's got a huge advantage with that aero power-up in this KISS race today.
And for those that don't understand CDA, basically it makes her really fast.
Really fast for 30 seconds, and you want to put everything you can into that 30 seconds. We've got a half a lap to go as they come through the Preem banner. No more Preems on the line at this point. They're all decided at this point. We'll get an update from the commissary on those, but we're focused in on this last half a lap between the women. 4 women up for the win. 3 of them are going to make the podium. 1's going to be off the back. Who is it going to be? We're about to find out. Pool now, taking a little bit of pull on the front. 4.4. It looks like they're not really... They're just making it fast enough, I think, that Inge doesn't come back, and as well making sure that they don't find themselves off the back, as sometimes if you go back too low on the power, if you take it too easy, you can find yourself quickly off the back of the pack.
Now, coming into that sprint finish, Nathan, there's that uphill bump. That's going to favor William being one of the lighter riders, but then it flattens out, so she could go early is what we could see, and then one of the stronger, more powerful riders could come across and maybe use her as a draft. but it's going to be very tactical. We already see Prince is off the back again. If we
What's
look over the
going on with
shoulder,
Prince there?
she's having some issues. She is burning matches, Nathan. It could be that she's not used to racing Swift that much, being that young, but that's not a valid argument when she has the Dutch national championship
182
jersey.
beats per minute right now. I have a feeling perhaps just losing the wheel here and there, perhaps. She's really digging in, trying to see how she's looking there down on the floor. She's really focused now at this point. I can see it in the face there of Willem. She's doing everything she can.
Oh,
It's
another
on a
sprint coming out
downhill
here.
there, and it's 2-second difference here from Prince. 7.7 watts per kilogram actually coming from her, and able to get back on, but it looks like we do have Juliet. We've only got the 2-tier left at this point. Real quick with Juliet, though. Go to Juliet.
Oh, they're going to go left.
And it looks like we've got, nope, we're not going to Juliet here. So but we do have Poles here now. It looks like 3.7 watts per kilogram now coming from her. And it looks like from Pole. Now it's going to be Cassie now toward 3.1 watts per kilogram. Falk there. Prince now 4.6, as you can see. Able to get back on, but so many matches burned. We're going into the 2-tier, Jasper. It looks like Prince might still be able to pull this off. She's a much lighter rider than the other riders out there. Will she be able to make this happen? 2.6, Dutch national champion.
Come on,
only
William,
15
come on.
years of age. Can she show up and make it happen? But it's going to be Kirsty Pohl from Germany, 181, leading things out for the women.
Get ready. Is this the left-hand turn up to? No, I actually think they go straight here, Nathan.
No, they're taking a left-hand turn onto the 2-tier, and they're going to be, it looks like, making that left-hand turn. There they go, 4.0 watts per kilogram, and it's Pohl on the front.
This is it,
and now
Nathan.
we do have Cassie now making her way to the front, as you can see there. Now Falk now 7.3 watts per kilogram, as you can see, coming out of Norway.
Are
She's
you
making her way to
ready?
the front as well.
This is
now
the
it's
sprint.
going to be Falk now, 4.7. Prince has got 10.7
Oh,
watts per
come
kilogram,
on.
as you can see, up and out of the saddle. Cassie's going for it now. This is it. We're into the final K, and Cassie Baldy on the front now, making a little bit of a dig. She does not have a gap, though, at this
That's like
point. as you
500
can
meters
see.
to go.
There goes the arrow power up, though. Is it too early? Who just threw the arrow power up? It's Kirsten. It's Falk. It's Kristen. It's Kirsten. Kristen Falk now.
400.
400 watts now. 178 beats per minute. Getting it right on right now. The first tier is over. Who's going to be able to throw
Oh,
down?
there
Here
comes
comes
the other
another
arrows.
Power up.
You
to
got the helmets.
the line.
Who's it
It's
gonna be,
gonna
Nathan?
Falk leading it out. 7 watts per kilogram coming from Falk. Falk now still leading it out as he makes her way to the line. Still trying to make the chase. It's going to be
Everything
Baldy.
you've
Here
got.
comes Cassie. Cassie trying to make the chase, but Kristen Falk across the line was able to make it happen. Takes the W. Cassie Baldy. It looks like Paul will be through.
Look
for
at that,
third.
Nathan. Look at that.
With the jersey on in real life,
Woo!
the jersey in game. What a reaction there from Falk. Head down. The suffering was real. The crowd's going nuts here in London. What an update. Your champion.
Look at that, ladies
Kristen
and
Falk
gentlemen.
representing Vision Cycling. Hands in the air.
You technically won, Nathan. You are the owner of Vision Cycling.
No. It's all Kristen. All Kristen. Let's go over to Juliet for an immediate interview.
Well done. That was absolutely amazing. How are you feeling after that? Did it go the way you planned in the end? Can you even breathe to talk to me?
Not really. Oh, I was lucky to get the aero power up for the final. I was kind of cursing inside along the race because I didn't get many power ups, and but on the second last lap, I finally got one, and it was the right one. And I wasn't quite sure when to hit the button, but I had a talk with a fellow Norwegian here before, and he said that he always saves it for just the beginning of the tunnel. And since he's much stronger than I am, I thought, okay, I have to wait till the end of the tunnel, and I hit it, and it was perfect. But you still have to get some power out of the legs. So.
Well done. We'll let you breathe for a moment here. And that was fantastic. We're going to go back to Nathan, and he's going to give us an overview of what happened in the finishing sprint.
Yeah, so Kristen Falk, it looks like here, Jasper, with the W there, as you do see. Cassie Baldy taking second there. Kirsten Pohl there for third. We're seeing Willem Prins there for fourth, and then Ing Jansen fifth. Carrie Gordon is going to be taking sixth place. Seventh place starts go to Julian Bandovich. It will be Kirsty Hole for eighth, ninth for Fred Haight, and Karen Jennings taking that 10th place for the race results. So solid effort all around. Top three there, though. That is your podium situation. Falk, you know, you called it, Jesper.
See, Falk, champion of the event, but the people's champion, Willem Prince, fourth place. She fought and fought and fought just off the podium. She's done really well. We're still yet to hear on the points classification, the Preems, who's taken home the money. Kirsten Falk, Vision, Norwegian national champion of Swift. It was so close in the end. We're going to talk to Juliet, I believe.
It looks like we're going to be going to Juliet then for the runner-up, Cassie Baldy.
Yeah, I'm here with Cassie, and Cassie was looking super strong in that, but in the end it all comes down to the finishing sprint. How do you feel?
Knackered, and Falk are amazing. I just didn't have it. I just didn't have the kick at the end. She's brilliant, so well done, brilliant effort. I'm absolutely just knackered now.
Well, you were looking super strong and certainly looked like you were pushing ahead for much of the race. So do you feel like you might have raced in any way slightly differently with hindsight, or did it go exactly the way, you know, could it not have gone any other way?
I always race off the front. That's the way I race. I always try and see if anyone wants to go for the break with me, and everyone wanted to stay in the pack today, which is fine. I'm just not as strong a sprinter as I hope to be, but that's what I've got to improve. So maybe next year I'll come back and I'll be a bit more stronger.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely something to aim for, and you know, you did incredibly well anyway. So I'm here with Glenn Knight to explain what happened in the points race. Obviously, we had 3 riders. Did they all tied, I believe?
Yeah, we did. We had 3 riders tie for the points. So what we're going to do is put all the money together, round it up to £900, and split it 3 ways instead of the reduced money for the lower ones. So
Could anybody have seen this coming? Was that an expected outcome?
no, it wasn't. You know, I think we had some pretty strong sprinters on the track today, so we kind of expected it to be a very clear winner, but clearly that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, well, it was a really exciting sprint to see. We had no idea what was going to happen, and that's the way with Swift races, I guess. So we're going to head back up to Rebecca now.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Juliet. What an incredible, close contested race, and you could just see the pain etched on every rider's race. Now, I think Nathan Guerra over in the commentary has actually got his breath back a little bit from that, so let's join him now and get his thoughts on that closing tonight, finale.
Yeah, so what an amazing race out there, everybody, with the women's Kiss Crit finals here in London for Europe. And, you know, the results are in. Kristen Falk there takes the W. Cassie Baldy running up for second. And then, that looked like an absolute all-in effort there from Kristen. What did you think about how she took it down? I mean, she went from immediately after the kick up that first tier.
See, I have a feeling it was Vidar Mel, who's going to be racing later on, who went over to Kristen and said, "This is how you play the finish." We both know Vidar is a great sprinter. That was amazing. She played it right, and I think we might actually have video footage of this.
Yeah, I think we do have a replay of that last attack here. So it looks like the replay here is coming through. There's Prinz trying to make something happen a little early. Maybe not even make something happen to get back on terms. I have a feeling she might have been more involved in this, actually, if she didn't have to get back on terms so many times. We do see on the front there, Cassie with a little bit of an attack there up front, but there it is, that arrow power-up from Kristen.
She broke the draft. She got away. Nobody was on her wheel. She kept down the power, and when everyone else used their arrow power-up, it was too late. It came down to that.
Yeah, she already had 1 second at this point, actually. I think if that 1 second wasn't there, that was really the difference, because Cassie almost got right back on the wheel, but there was that tactical move to go at the unexpected time. She got the jump and then held onto the gap with that arrow power-up.
But in the battle for second place, it was never set until the very line. They were neck and neck until the wheel would let go. But Kirsten Falk, What an amazing effort. Well done for the Norwegian champion, now the EU crit champion as well.
Yeah, amazing, amazing job all around. What an amazing effort there from the riders. Looking back at this, though, you know, it is interesting to see the overall results here that I'm looking at over at zwiftpower.com right now, actually. Kristen Falk, Cassie Baldi, Kirsten Pohl, and how it matches up with how things were in the overall for the series overall, too. It's kind of almost a little bit similar, actually. So interesting to see, actually, how it ended up between the riders and comparing it. You know, a lot of times there's a lot of questions from riders, you know, well, is it real, is it not, all that kind of stuff. You know, it kind of shows that Zwift Power is doing a pretty good job in conjunction with Zada of verifying these riders.
Oh, massive credit to Glenn Knight, Hodges, and everyone else involved in that. They really put in a lot of work to make sure that everything is real.
Look at these images.
I actually saw a few of the riders already with beer in their hands. I'm pretty sure I saw Fred out there with
It's
a good
definitely a
French beer.
community effort there that you can see there. You see them hugging afterwards. They're all friends, obviously. And that's what it's really all about. We say it so often. I mean, this is some serious competition for sure. But, I mean, it really is all about the community out here pushing each other in any kind of racing situation. They're all trying to better themselves to get the best they possibly can at their craft, pushing each other to get to that pinnacle of their abilities, actually. So pretty awesome racing all around. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here, though, for the race averages. A little bit lower on average all around, though, actually, I think. 3.7 watts per kilogram coming there from Kristen Falk for the total. Amongst the front runners here, I am seeing it's 3.7 from Kristen. Cassie Baldi there with the 3.9 watts per kilogram. Kirsten Pohl actually putting out the most amongst the riders, maybe doing a little bit too much work. We did see her on the front a lot.
But that paints the wrong picture when you look at the overall averages, because it's a crit. It's on, then it's off, then it's on, then it's off. Once the 5 riders in the front were settled, they sat at 3 watts per kilo, 3.2, and they knew what they were going into in the finale. And that's why the overall wattages are lower. But if you go down and ask them how the start was, they'd be like, never again.
We are seeing in the average for Keisha Pohl 4KRT Racing Team 236 in the red. She set one of her best actually here.
Really?
Pretty amazing effort there coming from her actually. And it looks like Willem Prins with a 3.3. She was sitting in a lot. She played her cards correctly. It looks like was able to make it into that top 4 with those efforts out there. Only throwing down, it looks like at about a 3.3. Be one of the lighter riders out there. National champion, knows how to race out in real life, knows how to race in Zwift because she reserved a lot of effort.
But she was on junior gearing. Did you know that? She had a junior gearing down there on the cassette. She's used to
Junior
racing
gearing, that might have something to do with what we saw there. Amazing, amazing effort there from her. I believe we are, in a moment here, going to be going to Juliet with some more of the floor here in just a moment. But a little more about the race here. We are seeing it looks like Ing Jensen, Fred Haight for 6th, Carrie Konenberg for 7th, and then Kirsti Hole for 8th across the line, I believe, in that order. It looks like Jesper's going to handle down toward the floor here in just a minute now to see how things are going on. I think we are going to Juliet with some interviews with some of the people on the floor.
So I'm here with the winners of the points race. We've got some prizes for them. Let's get everyone together. Cassie. And where's our 3rd winner? We're missing someone. Wilhelmine. Well done. Now, we actually have... I'm being shifted over here. Come on, guys. Obviously, Tacx provided the lovely Tacx Neos. So we weren't expecting to split the prize 3 ways. We thought we'd be having 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, but you guys are all so strong, so well done. I do believe we have £300 for you each, but I don't see where it is. Hopefully it's on its way. So anyone who want to talk to me about the race? Got any insights afterwards?
I was surprised with the sprint. I just used my aero and I managed to, I don't know how I had it in my legs, but I just was there and it happened. It was a bit of a surprise. The first one I got taken by surprise. I just didn't know it was coming. I was like, oh my God, it was there. And then the second one, the 3rd lap, and I got used to it then. And then on the last one, that was it. I got used to it and you can use the power. So yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. And do you feel that any of the sprints in any way affected what happened later when unfortunately you were eliminated. Tell me about that.
I missed the first one. Everybody was kind of leaving it to the last minute, and then it was too late by then. And the second one was good, third one really good, and I just burnt myself out, and I couldn't manage to I couldn't keep my watts up basically, and I got dropped. So
Yeah, always a danger with those preems. It does mix things up quite a lot. And how about you, Wilhelmine?
I'm a bit shaky right now, and yeah, I'm not so feeling right well, but it's okay. And the first sprint, I was surprised because I was first, and I thought, yay! And yeah, after that, I thought just stay in the group, stay with the first 5, and then maybe I win something or something.
Well done, yes. Well, obviously that worked out really well for you. And we've got some great prizes here tonight. Obviously, the winner wins Zwift for life. That's a prize a lot of us would like. And we've got the Tacx Neo. That's another one that we'd all enjoy, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to hand over to Jesper now. Sorry, there he is. Getting myself all flustered over here. Over to you.
I'm next to the main man. Eric didn't prepare for this. He's the man that made everything happen. CEO Eric, man, how you doing?
Good, how you doing?
See, I know, because I've known you for quite a while. This is your dream, Swift racing. Were you happy with what you saw there?
That was very, very exciting. I got a little bit of feedback about what happened tactically, and to see some of the stronger riders attack after the final sprint, very, very exciting.
What about that final sprint? The aero power was making all the difference, and the strategy of when to use that.
Clearly, they know what they're doing.
Oh, they probably raced Swift a bit or two.
Yeah.
So anything you want to say to the ladies? They've done 10 weeks of racing, coming down to this. Is there going to be a next one?
Well, absolutely. There'll be more of these for sure. I'm very, very happy and excited to see this culmination after 9 weeks of racing. I think we're experimenting with racing, and I think this format was really, really exciting. I think there's some more things that we can do to just continue to improve on it.
Thank you very much, Eric. There's no one else that puts as much time and effort into Swift than you, so thank you very much. Over here, Robert, we spoke previously, briefly before the race started. Let's get off the camera here. Cassie, you and her, are you proud of what you saw there, the effort?
Definitely. It's brilliant tactical racing. You could see it going in waves. Instead of just being a procession and then a sprint at the end, it was very, very tactical. You could see where they were all backing off and watching each other and testing each other all the time. And the four favourites really were kind of like right there at the end. It's a shame that there weren't more involved, but obviously with the sprints, that animated everything so much that people burned themselves out on that.
Were you talking to her during the race?
I was a little bit, yes.
Sorry?
I was a little bit.
Yeah, what were you saying?
It's just things like, for example, what the other competitors were looking like. So, you know, when it's not live, you don't know how hard somebody is working, really. So when they're pushing out 5 watts per kilo, are they suffering or are they just taunting you and teasing you? So, yeah, I could see that there were purple faces over there, and I said, look, you might be feeling bad. They look worse. So don't worry about it. Just stay with them. You're okay. Just confidence building.
Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you very much, Eric Min as well. We're heading back up to Rebecca. Over to you.
Thank you, guys. Now, for anybody new to virtual bike racing on Zwift, well, firstly, isn't it exciting? But how does it all work? At the centre of all this excitement and battling it out on the bikes is the smart trainer. Here's Shane Miller to offer some thoughts on how the tech makes it all possible.
If you're seeing this for the first time, let's have a quick look at what the riders are using as their game controller on Zwift. Similar to an Xbox or PlayStation game where you're pressing buttons to interact with others, on Zwift, riders are pressing on their bike pedals, just like they do when riding outside. Converting a push bike into a game controller is no simple task. However, companies like Tacx have made the task both quick and easy. With the use of a direct drive smart trainer, the rear wheel of a bike is removed and the bike is mounted on the smart trainer itself. This provides stability so you can't fall off, while allowing riders to pedal as easy, or in training and races, as hard as they can. The smart trainer measures exactly how hard the riders are pushing on their pedals, which is then relayed to Zwift to propel their rider forward. In short, it's just like riding outside. The harder you push on those pedals, the faster you go. But that's not all. These smart trainers interact with the virtual environment, meaning it's harder to ride uphills than it is to ride downhills. The smart trainer adjusts the resistance accordingly, automatically. So when you see the riders tackling steep hills on the screen, they really are having to push just as hard as if they were riding the same terrain outside. Oh, and one last thing. The Tacx Neo Smart Trainer will also simulate road surface. So if you're riding over cobbles, you'll feel it. If you're riding over gravel, things get a bit gritty. And if you're riding over a plank bridge, you'll feel that ticking rhythm of the gaps between the boards. So there's a quick overview of how Zwift works and how companies like Tacx have revolutionized indoor cycling, making those previously boring indoor training sessions into a fully interactive and social environment, just like riding outside.
Well, the atmosphere here at Bespoke in the heart of London is certainly hotting up. This room temperature is definitely on the rise with that power output, that sheer effort. Now, we are going to get our top-placed women's riders in with Nathan. So let's hand over to him now. He's got our number 3.
I'm here with Kirsty Paul. Thanks for the correction there. I'm trying my best on the names. And, you know, that was an amazing effort. We saw you out there with a lot of focus, it looked like. And, you know, you took, I believe it was 7th overall in the series, actually.
That's true,
What were your
yeah.
expectations coming in?
I was not completely sure because it's completely different than racing at home with everybody on the same trainer, having the points competition in between. It was kind of hard because I wasn't going for the sprint points because I'm not that good of a sprinter.
Yeah.
But if the front is sprinting, you have no other choice than to follow them. So
Yeah, did that change things up from what you were used to in the racing? Was the racing a little bit calmer than even during the series, and then tonight just constant?
yeah, normally it's like the first 1 or 2 rounds are really hard, and then it kind of calms down. But today was like the 3 times points was like a sprint in between every time, and was kind of hard.
Just non-stop racing. And I believe, I'm looking at the numbers right here, you put out 4.0 watts per kilogram for, it looks like, the duration of the race, actually.
Yeah, I
Is
guess
that like a huge effort for you?
Yeah, I guess it's the highest ever on Swift.
Oh my goodness, so there was a lot of motivation out there. How hot was it on the floor? Were you like getting really overheated? I mean, did it feel like a very, very difficult effort as far as that goes?
Definitely. It was kind of hot, but at the same time, the door opposite of me was open, so I got a lot of fresh air in between, so that was okay.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, for sure. And so going into that final sprint, you know, let's talk about that just a little bit. You know, Kristen made that early attack. Seemed like she kind of caught things off guard a little bit. Is that how it went down?
Kind of. I was trying to track down the numbers to see when someone started to sprint, and my plan was not to use the aero power out too early, wait for the first one, try to stay in the draft, and then use my power up. But yeah, Cassie is really strong, and Kristen is really strong as well. But I knew that Wilhelmina used her power up before, so I knew with 3 had a power up, it was kind of, okay, I'm good to be 3rd. That was kind of a nice feeling.
At that point, you had put yourself through so much. I mean, you were probably really hurting at that point. Like, have you hurt that bad on the bike before, you think?
Maybe once in the final sprint in the crit, but I guess never in a real race.
Yes.
It's just crazy with the e-crit.
So that's a testament right there about how hard it is to race out on Zwift.
Yeah. I was like shaking like afterwards, and it's best to stay on the bike for a while and then go down.
Yeah. Did you get a good cool down then?
Yeah, a little bit, but then it was like...
Then they're like, come over here, let's do this interval here.
Yeah, I still managed to change, get something dry, but yeah
for
kind of
sure.
hectic.
Yeah, definitely. Well, congratulations on
Thank
3rd
you.
place. It's absolutely amazing. Great job representing KISS Racing. Was it really
Thank
cool
you.
to see the whole community too?
Yeah, just sad that Karen hit the power up button too strong, but
Too
still,
bad.
Yeah, with Wilhelmina on 4th place, Carrie team was kind of good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, it's great having you here. Thank you so much for coming in for this interview, and amazing job on 3rd
You're
place.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Back to Rebecca then to introduce the 2nd place.
Thank you so much, Nathan. And it's always brilliant to really get that rider insight. I mean, just as I mentioned earlier, the pure pain etched on each and every rider's face, especially for those sprint preems and those final stages. Absolutely phenomenal. And now we're going to rejoin Nathan, who's with our 2nd placed rider so far tonight.
I'm none other than Cassie Baldi, one of the favorites coming into the race for sure. A lot of times we've seen you in the lead up to this with the 10 races, trying to make your way off the front. We saw it a little bit, I felt like, during the race. Was that kind of part of the plan a little bit, Cassie?
Not really. I wasn't feeling 100% today because I have been ill. So I was like, I wasn't sure how much I was going to give. And I thought I'll give it a go at the front, see how I'm feeling. I didn't really have much to give, to be honest, at the front. So I thought, well, everyone seems to be settling down into a pack. I thought, let's just see how it goes. I'm not the greatest sprinters. So I thought, well, I'll see how it goes. And actually, I didn't do too bad on the sprint. When it came to the final kick, it was... I just couldn't dig deep enough to overtake Christian. So it was a fantastic race, and it was really enjoyable.
Now, speaking about the sprint situation, I mean, was that part of the plan? Like, you didn't want to spill the beans beforehand, but now it's like, all right, the race is over. What was the plan going in when it came to the points classification and the overall?
So the plan for me was like, I'm going to give it a bit of fun. So I'm going to see if I can get the points and maybe possibly go for the win. I think I probably went too hard on the sprint, didn't have much left at the end. But that was a risk I decided to take, have a bit of fun with it. Because I do enjoy pushing and seeing what I've got in the tank. And sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does.
Well, it ended up pretty well. Second place, you got to be happy with that, right?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Didn't expect it. I think there's some people that are a bit doubters about my power and how, what I can do online. I'm here. I'm real. That's what I can say.
She's real. Everybody, right there. Cassie Baldi next to me right now. Real person. Oh, that's absolutely awesome. I love it. And that actually is part of what these events are about. Everybody knows that LAN events in any gaming platform are about showing up and showing what you can do. So it's got to be a huge relief for you to show up and throw down that power and show everybody what you can do in real life.
Yeah, certainly. You see lots of riders on Zwift, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure, she's real. I'm not, and all this, people that don't actually put the power down in real life. But I think I've proved today that I can put the power down in real life, and I can do it sort of across the board now. So, hopefully there isn't any more doubters.
That was an amazing effort, actually. Second place is absolutely huge. You're going to be going home with the trainer. Pretty awesome to have that on an extra one on hand for sure. Are you guys going to have any use for that, you think, in-house?
We've already got a watt bike and a kicker who kick us. So we've got a bit of room left for one more, I'm sure.
There you go, right on. Now, I'm actually looking at some of the numbers here from what you just threw down here. 3.9 watts per kilogram on average, actually, throughout your race. Is that a fairly good effort for you?
It was a slower sort of overall race for me, so I would normally put in out about 4.5. That's maximum I would normally put out, but that's it was a steady race. I think the ladies and we're all sort of concentrated on the sprints, so it took away the pace of the race. So you could see during the race it was a slightly slower race, but what made it more interesting was the eliminations and the sprints, because you didn't know what was coming and you wanted to make sure you were up there, so everyone held back a little bit.
So you didn't feel like you were on the back foot from the get-go, and you didn't have that lead pack right from the get-go either. It kind of changed things up a lot. It seemed like a more open race rather than that gone. 3 off the front, 4 off the front. Yeah,
well, I think we all I was talking to a few ladies before the race, and we all just wanted to enjoy it rather than sprint off like a crazy we normally do, because you can't see anyone. But because we talk, so it's not sort of just generally just said, let's just have fun. And just sort of see what happens.
Yeah. Well, an amazing job out there. Second place in the current finals. It sounds like it was an amazing race for you, amazing experience and event for you. Thanks so much for jumping in here with us, and congratulations on second place.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, no problem, Cassie. We're going to go back over to Rebecca for the introduction on first place.
Thank you once again, Nathan. Now, I absolutely love the sheer modesty from Cassie in that interview in the commentary booth there. Yeah, I wasn't on my best this morning. I wish that I could put out that sort of power data on a day where I'm tired. Absolutely phenomenal. Somebody else phenomenal is our women's winner. Here she is with Nathan.
Well, I am here with Kristen Falk, Vision Cycling. Wow, were you expecting that? That was an amazing effort, and it looked like it really hurt. I mean, congratulations, first of all.
Thanks, and I can confirm it hurt.
It looked like it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You know, let's go back through, first of all, before we get into the final sprint situation, I want to talk a little bit about your plan going in. What was it exactly? Was it preems at all, or was it just like, I want to win this thing?
Well, I think we all came to win this thing. But you never know what will happen during a race. And also when you come from the virtual racing, none of us could know what the actual power of the competitors are, because we all know that power meters can give different outputs, and so when we meet, that's what I really like about this, to meet and have equal calibrated power meters, and then to really see. And I was surprised that some of the riders were much stronger than I thought. And so you don't know until the end what will happen. And I saw some of the riders were falling off in the back, of course, but we were 5 strong riders towards the end. And it was great racing against Cassie, of course, because we have been very equal in power output.
Well, we actually had a replay from during the series leading into this, and you were off the back in that sprint, and you guys would go 1-2, 1-2 a lot of times between each other.
Yeah, so it was great meeting her, and it was like that today as well, like it have been all the time. And but this time I got it in the end.
It looked like it looked like the plan was to go for the W then, but then when it actually came down to making it happen in that final sprint, you kicked immediately after the first tier of the 2-tier climb. Was that on the cards that I was just going to jump them before they had a chance?
I had a talk with a fellow Norwegian that is riding here today before I started the race, and he has done quite a lot of Swifting, and we were talking about how to use the power-ups, because I haven't really, I don't feel that I know exactly how to do it. And he was saying, if you get the aero helmet, keep it for the end. I got it on the second last lap. I didn't get a lot of power. I didn't get a lot of power-ups, but I got this one, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do exactly what he said. And he said, keep it. He said, I always use it at the beginning of the tunnel, and since he's stronger than me, he said, perhaps wait until the finish of the tunnel, then hit it, and then go. And I did exactly that, and
the tactics worked out.
Tactics
a little
worked
bit
out.
of team member help there. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'd like to see him do the same now. But it was you have to give it your all, anyways, and it really hurt. I must admit.
It looked like it. I mean,
because
speaking of that,
it's a long sprint, because I started with the tunnel. It's like 400 meters or something, and that's quite a long sprint. So I hadn't really thought about that. I just had thought
it felt long. I was going off for like 45 seconds at least.
Yeah, because I just knew I had to hit the power up at that point, but then I didn't realize that it was such a long sprint. So when I was halfway, I was looking, oh shit, it's still 200 meters, and I'm finished. And I thought, okay, I just have to keep going. And that hurt.
Yeah, head down, everything you have. I've been there before, Zwift Racing. It's like almost like Zwift Racing's the only one that does it to you, it seems like, kind of. I mean, your experience outdoor racing, right? And so would you do a quick little comparison then for the viewers who are out there maybe new to this, haven't seen it before? How would you compare this to real life for the effort side of things?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. It's because it's definitely... I mean, some things are the same, and the power is the output or the heartbeat and all of that, but the tactics are a bit different. And I think it's kind of, I mean, one thing I enjoy about it is that you don't have to do the elbow thing, like you do outdoors. I'm not so good at that outdoors. But then at the same time, I don't know, it can be fun with this thing with the power-ups and everything, but to be frank, I don't really enjoy the power-ups because they put a random thing to the game that really doesn't have anything to do with your powers or anything. And it can be fun gaming, but when you're competing and there's like prizes and everything, personally I would prefer to not have the power-ups in the game. Just because it's kind of a random thing and not the effort you put in.
There has been some discussion maybe around making them more cycling oriented in that respect, perhaps, where they would relate maybe to that in a stronger respect.
Right,
But
right.
And I can see that
I don't know,
maybe
it
being
could
attractive. But I
be
think we actually have another one coming in. So I mean, huge congratulations.
Okay,
Joel.
thanks.
It's an amazing job.
Thanks.
You must be like so proud at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, such a huge build up, 10 weeks of effort to get to here today, taking first place. Now a lifetime of Zwift.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think you're
yeah.
stopping anytime soon.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, congratulations,
thanks.
Kristen. Amazing job in first place. Back to Rebecca.
Well, the men's field are beginning their warm-up ahead of another expected to be hard-fought battle here in Bespoke in the heart of London. And up here in the commentary booth, well, the fantastic guests just keep on coming. And next up, joining Nathan up here once again, is someone I'm sure we're all very eager to hear from. It's someone who has been there from the very start, innovating what we see before us today in events like this, which has just been such a game changer. So, without further ado, let's hand over to Nathan, who's joined by Eric Min.
Well, I am joined here by CEO Eric Min. Great to have you here with us, Eric. And wow, I mean, this has been, I know early on, I raced the GCN race really early on with, with those guys and, battling it out. And I remember having a conversation with you talking about things like this, and there's a lot of excitement around this with you. We're a couple years out from this now, and this culmination, what do you think now?
I think this is fantastic. I think it's still early days for us. It's great that we're experimenting with different formats. But I think to see, all of these passionate riders come here, have gone through 9 weeks of qualifications to be here, compete one another. I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. You can see all the smiles on the face, the community. Yeah. I know you're one who's really about community and it all coming together like that. I mean, it must be really cool to walk in and see, like, wow, the community that this has created and the teamwork and the camaraderie, all that kind of stuff. Can you speak to that at all?
Well, I mean, look, it looks like we have athletes from 6 or 7 different countries. We have athletes ranging from 14 to, I think, over almost 50-year-old. I think that says a lot about how inclusive we are as a community, as a platform. So it's super exciting that anyone can really be part of this community.
Yeah, we were talking about new features. There's eliminations. There was the Preem race today as well. There was also a new feature I want to just give a little shout out to that just came out. Alpe d'Huez was just released. It looks like it's extremely popular. I think I got a number from Inside Zwift that said 80% of the people who started the climb have finished it. I'm not sure the number of people have finished it, but it seems like it's really been a hit.
So the stats that I can share with you is about 35,000.
35,000 people
have gone up.
Alpe d'Huez.
But when we have Watopia available, on average, over 5,000 people climb. So it's like essentially a fondo every day that takes place.
Wow, and that's just, I mean, what was the release date? I mean, that's a pretty close release date.
It's a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that is 35,000 people. That is a gigantic number.
So if you had asked me, would we build something like Alpe d'Huez 2-3 years ago, I would have said, no way. It just wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
We actually surprised ourselves. It is fun.
There was a little bit of chatter on Zwiftcast. Simon was like, I'm not sure people are going to want to climb this thing. Are people really going to be going to it? Shane was, and I was like, I don't know. I think I was on board on that one. Was it a risk to put this huge climb in game, and will anybody climb it?
Yeah, I've done it 4 times already.
You're knocking on my door. Come on, Nathan. What am I doing, guys?
I know. Just recently, there was Everesting as well. So I think you'll see more calls. This won't be the last one.
And there's all those achievements you got to be going for. That's got to be a little bit of carrot. Now, people are wondering, what's your best time up the Alp?
I think I did 54, and my goal is to get to 50. We have a number of fast riders at Zwift. I think someone clocked 45 or 44 minutes already.
I got a 45, but I think Jordan Rapp, 37. 58?
He's under 40.
Yeah, I think he was looking at me. He was like 37.58.
Yeah. But he's a former professional triathlete, world champion. He has all the credibility.
Now, is there some competition in house then a little bit at Zwift about who's going to get the faster times, or at least comparing?
I think so, but it's hard to beat Jordan.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is so fit at the moment. And
Yeah,
I
he
think
looks like he's going after some events actually too.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I think he's going to go for a pursuit event.
Yeah, yeah.
So he might not be comfortable in a pack environment, but you put him in a straight line, he can throw down some pretty big watts.
Yeah, for sure. Now, a couple of things real quick on the dev side of things. I know people will be wondering, they saw the eliminations, they saw, that was in the points. Maybe something that we'd be looking toward more gamification toward this kind of thing with game modes and stuff in the future?
I mean, you can go from one extreme to something far more gamey. I think by just taking away some of the data that we make available to all the riders could just change the dynamics.
Yeah, yeah.
We can accommodate 30 riders, but imagine if we had 6 teams of 5, and suddenly they can start, coordinating and have real teamwork in the event. So there are a number of things that we are already thinking about, and of course, equipment selection could be gamified. Drafting could be stronger in races, right?
Yeah.
So there are lots of things that we can do, and so this is all part of us just tweaking and experimenting. But if you ask me, I think virtual racing and our version of esports has huge potential.
Well, that's absolutely awesome to hear Eric Min say esports. You know how excited I am about that?
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, 3 years ago, I'm looking at this thing going, I'm literally playing Dota, and then I see your game come up on my Facebook feed, and I'm like, I got to get into that thing. And then next thing I know, I'm commentating these things, and to hear that, that coming, that's absolutely awesome. To be here with this, it's so great, so cool to be here at this final right now. It looks like we've got about 26 minutes. The men are lining up right now. They're getting ready to race. We've got Tom out there. We've got, Kim Little out there, some names you'll be familiar with. You've got, UK national champion
By the way,
out there.
is Kim Little his real name?
Yeah, Kim Little's
Little
his real
part
name.
is his
Kim
real name.
Little is his real name.
I expect him to be much bigger, so I was wondering, is Little his nickname, or is it?
Yeah, riding for Team Experimental, UK national
Gotta
champion.
watch out for Kim Little.
Yeah,
he knows what
you
he's
gotta watch out
doing.
for him. He does know what he's doing for sure. Do you have any, any picks out there that you might are thinking about? I know you've watched a lot of the racing, especially the UK racing. We got a lot of the hard hitters from UK.
Yeah, I think it's the same distance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 37K.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we're looking at. Same distance.
It's a long race, so I think they're going to have to be very, very careful how they use their resources, right? And I think they'll learn from what happened in the women's race.
I think you're right there.
I think they're going to have to be very careful of those who've been just holding back in the preems.
And we're looking at some images here of the riders getting warmed up. It looks like 25 to go for the race starting, getting some, making sure that they're cool. Have you done some racing out on Zwift, Eric?
Not recently. I've been running a little bit, but I really do need to get back into the racing scene.
So you're looking forward to actually doing some races, and
absolutely,
and it gets you fit for some events. Any events coming up in real life?
Believe it or not, before people really caught on to racing, I won a race. Can you believe that?
Oh my goodness, that's awesome! Like an actual event, organized event race.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what race it was?
It was probably it predated the WBR.
Oh
races.
the WBR races.
So it was an A race, and I'm a sprinter. And everyone just waited around for the sprint. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to take off. And I'm the sprinter.
And you grabbed it. You're able to take it down. WBR race. Eric Min's got a win on the board. Palmares for Eric. That's absolutely awesome. Great job. So with 24 minutes to go here, I think we're going back to Rebecca, though, I think. So thanks a lot, Eric. I really appreciate amazing that we're here with the esports. Thanks a lot for tuning in with us and
thanks for having
giving
me.
us some info on the inside. Becca, it's back to you.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you, Eric. Brilliant to hear from Eric Min there. Now, as I keep mentioning, I can see just behind me the men. Their field is really warming up now, and we've got the action from them very soon. But before we go any further, let's just remind ourselves how good that women's race was.
Prince and Janssen, they both speak Dutch. Are they working together right now? Are they saying, let's take turns, let's get back to the front and try to get into that sprint? 2 seconds, is the equivalent of minutes when you're here now. It's so tough.
Only 1 lap to go. 3 seconds off the back. Prince has been caught out. Now she's going to try and drag. It looks like Jansen
She goes
back
right
up. But
by
Jansen
Inge.
unable to hang on. Inge there now. It looks like 4.8 watts per kilogram. 7 meters off the back. Prince with an
Arrow.
arrow. She's got an arrow, but that's an arrow too early. She needed that for the final.
But she
and now she
needs
has
to
to
do
use
it.
7 watts per kilogram. I think she got caught off guard. And now we're seeing 4.3
Oh, she's gonna
watts
come
per
back.
kilogram coming from Prince. Now 191 beats per minute. There is the clawing back. Inge Jansen off the back, not going to be back in this. 1.2 watts per kilogram. She'll most likely take a 5th on the day. 192, the heart rate's already way up there. Look, the watts immediately come down from that first person point of view coming from Prinz now. 190, the Dutch national champion, letting herself be known as somebody still to be reckoned with as she's brought her way back. Now, the images there coming from Cassie Baldy, UK national champion out on Zwift. Super serious look on the face there, Jasper.
She is really digging into it right now. Just one quick mention on William Prince. When she rewatches this later to watch the broadcast, she'll be kicking herself that she had to waste that aero power up before the sprint. It's so vital when you go in there. And I bet you right now, and the spectators can see this on the screens, what power-ups they have. Falk is going to have an arrow. Cassie's going to have an arrow. Paul's going to have one too. But William Prince is not going to be having one on the screen. You can see Cassie on the left-hand corner.
25% CDA reduced, reduction of drag from that aero power-up that Cassie Baldy does have. So she's got a huge advantage with that aero power-up in this KISS race today.
And for those that don't understand CDA, basically it makes her really fast.
Really fast for 30 seconds, and you want to put everything you can into that 30 seconds. We've got a half a lap to go as they come through the Preem banner. No more Preems on the line at this point. They're all decided at this point. We'll get an update from the commissary on those, but we're focused in on this last half a lap between the women. 4 women up for the win. 3 of them are going to make the podium. 1's going to be off the back. Who is it going to be? We're about to find out. Pool now taking a little bit of pull on the front. 4.4. It looks like they're not really... They're just making it fast enough, I think, that Inge doesn't come back, and as well making sure that they don't find themselves off the back, as sometimes if you go back too low on the power, if you take it too easy, you can find yourself quickly off the back of the pack.
Now, coming into that sprint finish, Nathan, there's that uphill bump. That's going to favor William being one of the lighter riders, but then it flattens out, so she could go early is what we could see, and then one of the stronger, more powerful riders could come across and maybe use her as a draft. But it's going to be very tactical. We already see Prince is off the back again. If we look over the shoulder, she's having some issues. She is burning matches, Nathan. It could be that she's not used to racing Swift that much, being that young, but that's not a valid argument when she has the Dutch national championship jersey.
182 beats per minute right now. I have a feeling perhaps just losing the wheel here and there, perhaps. She's really digging in, trying to see how she's looking there down on the floor. She's really focused now at this point. I can see it in the face there of Willem. She's doing everything she can.
Oh,
it's
another
on
sprint
a
coming out here.
There, and it's a 2-second difference here from Prince. 7.7 watts per kilogram actually coming from her. And able to get back on, but it looks like we do have Juliet. We've only got the 2-tier left at this point. Real quick with Juliet, though. Go to Juliet.
Oh, they're going to go left.
And it looks like we've got, nope, we're not going to Juliet here. So, but we do have pulls here now. It looks like 3.7 watts per kilogram now coming from her. And it looks like from Pull. Now it's going to be Cassie now toward 3.1 watts per kilogram. Falk there. Prince now 4.6, as you can see, able to get back on, but so many matches burned. We're going into the 2-tier, Jasper. It looks like Prince might still be able to pull this off. She's a much lighter rider than the other riders out there. Will she be able to make this happen? 2.6, Dutch national champion.
Come on,
only
William.
15 years of age. Can she show up and make it happen? But it's going to be Kirsty Pohl from Germany, 181, leading things out for the women.
Get ready. Is this the left-hand turn up to... No, I actually think they go straight here, Nathan.
No, they're taking a left-hand turn onto the 2-tier, and they're going to be, it looks like, making that left-hand turn. There they go, 4.0 watts per kilogram, and it's Pohl on the front.
This is it,
and now
Nathan.
we do have Cassie now making her way to the front, as you can see there. Now Falk now, 7.3 watts per kilogram, as you see. Cassie coming out of Norway.
Are
She's
you
making her way
ready?
to the front as well.
This is
now
the
it's
sprint.
going to be Falk now, 4.7. Prince has got 10.7
Oh,
watts to
come
go down,
on.
as you can see, up and out of the saddle. Cassie's going for it now. This is it. We're into the final K. And Cassie Baldy on the front now, making a little bit of a dig. She does not have a gap, though, at this
That's like
point. as you
500
can
meters
see.
to go.
There goes the arrow power up, though. Is it too early? Who just threw the arrow power up? It's Kirsten. It's Falk. It's Kristen. It's Kirsten. Kristen Falk now. 400 watts now. 178 beats per minute. Getting it right on right now. The first tier is over. Who's going to be able to throw down?
there
Here
comes
comes
the other
another
arrows.
Power up.
You
to
got the helmets.
Line.
Who's it
It's
gonna be, Nathan?
Falk leading it out. 7 watts per kilogram coming from Falk. Falk now still leading it out as he makes her way to the line. Still trying to make the chase. It's going to be Baldy.
you've
Here
got.
comes Cassie. Cassie trying to make the chase, but Kristen Falk across the line was able to make it happen. Takes the W. Cassie Baldy, it looks like Paul will be through.
Look
for
at that,
third.
Nathan. Look at that.
With the jersey on in real life,
Woo!
the jersey in game. What a reaction there from Falk. Head down, the suffering was real. The crowd's going nuts here in London.
Race time is fast approaching. Let's just get a quick sense of the atmosphere around the races and the crowd with Juliet.
Thanks, Rebecca. Well, I'm down on the floor here with Jesper, and we've really enjoyed watching the women's race, but now it's time for the men's. I'm going to go over to the racers and have a chat with Kim. I've got to go around there. Bear with me one moment. Ooh. So, here I am. I'm going to nab you, Kim, for a word. How are you feeling about today's race?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's going to be a tough race. There's some super fast guys here. It's pretty hot and moist in here, so I'm, need to get some cooling going. But yeah, I'm feeling good, confident.
Great. And have you got any specific tactics? We saw the women made great use of the power-ups. What are you hoping for?
Yeah, so I've just been trying to get the aero power up, which is the killer move. So keeping that, play my cards, a bit close to my chest, and use that when I need to.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I'll leave you to it. I'm going to go over now to Tom. Follow me, and we'll have a word with him. Excuse me. So, Tom, let me know how you're feeling about today's race.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I've never done a race before. I've been so on the spot in front of people, and there's nowhere to hide today. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous. I'm excited. This is cool. This is an amazing thing. So.
Great, well, good luck. I mean, I know you're a very experienced racer, but it must be quite different doing this live with people watching on Facebook and the crowd here. How do you feel racing in front of a crowd out in the real world? Is that no problem for you?
It depends on the race, but normally if you're racing somewhere else, you've got a circuit or whatever, and you're in sight for maybe 30 seconds, then you're out of sight, and here it's, the people that can watch you throughout the whole event, so it's, yeah, you don't want to make any mistakes, basically, because there's no way you're hiding them here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure that everyone is supporting you, so have a good race. And here on my left, I've got Gavin. And I saw you preparing earlier by eating Greg's pasty. Unusual way to prepare for a race. And how are you feeling now?
Nervous. Yeah, excited though.
Yeah, and have you found the 10 race series? And have you got to know your fellow riders today?
I've got a fair idea of what they can do, so yeah.
And I was speaking earlier about race tactics and the power-ups that you might hope to use. Have you got anything planned in particular, or are you just kind of wing it sort of man?
I've got a couple of things in mind, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Ooh, everyone's really keeping their cards close to their chest. We'll go to Jesper now.
Titanium Geek, how are you doing, James?
I'm not bad, thanks. How's yourself?
Good. So this must be like your heaven. You're watching Zwift times a million right now. What do you think?
This is brilliant. I mean, it's geek. Well, as you say, geek heaven. There's everything going on here. We've got power meters. We've got all the fans. We've got the TV. I can barely contain myself at times.
See, some people out there, they might not be familiar with Zwift, but they might have watched The Island recently. I'm fairly certain you're on there, our own little Zwift celebrity.
I'm not sure about that.
Anyway, it's been fun to watching you. You wrote the Bible on how to Zwift. How long ago was that?
That was in 2016, I think, back when we were in beta days on this, when we had Jarvis Island, which lots of people haven't actually cycled on.
No, but there's still the tree on Watopia, the Jarvis tree.
That's the wonderful thing about the Zwift. There's all these tiny little Easter eggs if you know what you're looking at.
So looking at this field, we were just talking about it, 10 very strong racers. You've seen Zwift racing quite a while, for 2 years, 3 years. Who's your money on for this?
I'm not sure. I'm going to be watching Kim Little and Tim Cartwright, both names that we know well from Zwift racing, and I think they've both got things to prove tonight.
What about your outside shot? Somebody who's been racing at home, who hasn't really been vocal, shows up and destroys the field. Anyone?
Honestly, I'm not sure who that's going to be, but that's the thing with Zwift. You don't know. This guy could have trained in his basement. We've got a black ninja coming. It's going to destroy somebody. Kim needs to look out.
Thank you, James. Back over to Rebecca.
Thank you, Jesper. Okay, well, the racing is now very close. The riders are completing their final warm-ups. They have ahead of them 8 laps of the Volcano circuit in a counter-clockwise direction. There are preems, there are elimination laps. This is going to be an absolutely great race. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the men's lineup. British rider Tim Cartwright is level 25, who's ridden 29,000 kilometres and climbed 257,000 metres on Zwift. He's a TT specialist and a silver medalist in a national 25-mile TT. Tim is 39. Tom Hargreaves, also a Brit, is also level 25 with 8,000 kilometres and almost 90,000 vertical metres climbed on Zwift. Tom is a real-life racer in London where he lives. Tom is 31 and works for Zwift. Gavin Dempster is Scottish. His Zwift history spans 8,000 kilometres with 77,000 metres of climbing, and he's also a level 25 rider. This year, Gavin's riding an ultra-distance, unsupported race called the Transatlantic. Gavin is 29. Russian rider Frank Bakalov is also level 25 with 9,000 kilometres and 81,000 vertical Zwift metres. Frank started riding bikes as a commuter 10 years ago and went onwards and upwards from there. Frank is 33 years of age. Kim Little, also a Brit, is level 25 and has almost 23,000 kilometres and a massive 194,000 metres of climbing. Kim is British national champion and one of the most prominent of all Zwift racers. Kim is 40 years old. Phil Whiteley, also British and also level 25, has ridden almost 9,000 Zwift kilometres and climbed 87,000 vertical metres. Phil almost missed out on today's final after managing to stab himself in the knee with a knife. Phil is 45 years old. Peter Fane is a Swiss national and level 25 Zwifter with over 6,000 kilometres and 60,000 metres climbed. Peter is a Swiss national champion in real life for ultra distance. Peter is 36. Vidar Mel is Norwegian and, like all riders today, is level 25. He's ridden 9,000 kilometres in Zwift and climbed almost 77,000 metres. Vidar is an experienced real-life racer who's been competing for more than 10 years, and he's 31. Soren Bay is a Danish rider who's also level 25, with 7,000 kilometres and 80,000 metres in his legs. Soren is Danish national champion after only starting Zwift in September and getting hooked. He is 47 years of age. Martin Krivonos is Polish and is a relative rookie at just level 20. He's only ridden just under 4,000 kilometres and climbed 32,000 metres, but he's no novice in real life, having completed the legendary Marmot Sportif twice. Martin is 36 years old.
Wow, quite a lineup here. Like, seriously, some of the strongest we've got out of the EU, that's for sure. We've been commentating on these riders for a long time. I mean, a lot of familiar names, obviously. We've got the lineup here. Tim Cartwright, almost undefeated in the series, actually, Jesper.
He's unreal. What is it like? Is it the 10-mile national TT record he has
Something
in the UK?
like that. Some sort of crazy TT specialist. If this guy gets off the front, watch out for Tim Cartwright. I mean, everybody in the field, I was talking to a lot of the riders beforehand, they know that name and they know to watch out for it. What do you think, Jesper? I mean, do you think he'll go for a TT?
Oh, he has to.
Like, he honestly, I've never seen him sprint before because he always comes to the line solo or not at all. Tim Cartwright is a man to put everything on one board and just go for it. But my favorite Tim Cartwright moment is he rocked up to the store. He had a Rockstar can in the hand, downed it, and I'm like, is that smart? Is that how you race prep? And he goes, don't worry, I have another one for the race later on.
It's Cassie Baldy, I guess. No, wait, it's Tim Cartwright. And so Tim Cartwright drinking the Rockstar. He's going to be a Rockstar, I think, tonight. Watch out for him. That's for sure. I think another one to be watching out. Tom Hargreaves, as we're saying earlier, I think he's looking for some redemption, too. He wanted that UK National Champions kit, but the man who was able to take it from him, Kim Little, out-tacticianed him to the line. You think we might see some similar experience maybe from Kim Little out there, too?
Oh, there's a grudge match going on between those two. I mean, between the three of them, the three Brits, Tim, Tom, and Kim, it's going to be fun to watch how they play this one out. And it's worth mentioning that Tom Hargreaves, he will have that little set next to his name. He's an official Swift employee, and he qualified for the E-Crit. That guy has got some watts on him as we're seeing Kim Little in the shot.
Drinking out of, is that a Team Experimental bottle? Riding for Team Experimental.
Yeah, but he's missing the kit today.
I mean, he is going to be one to watch out for. Looking for some redemption, I think, for sure after CVR.
Yeah.
Didn't go super well for him. So I know he was working that day, though, as well. So maybe took a little bit out of him from that. Dark horses, any wild cards? I don't know. This lineup is so strong. It's like why it is so strong. I mean, anybody that might just come out of nowhere?
Phil Whiteley.
Okay.
The man, I've raced against him. He races for BRT. His story is a week ago, he accidentally stabbed himself in the knee.
What?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you can see the tissue, whatever he's got, the bandage going on.
He's pointing at it right there, stabbing himself in the knee. Well, it looks like he was able to make it, though, today, riding in the BRT kit there, actually, in real life. That goes to show how strong the community is, too, as well. I mean, there's definitely all of these kits out there, KRT, Team Experimental. We've seen BRT out there as well. We've got this really tight-knit community. Now, talking to Team Tacx, though, how many do we see from similar teams? KRT's showing up, Tim Cartwright. We've got Vidar Mail out there from KRT as well. Then we're also seeing, it looks like, from the BRT team, though, solo situation.
We got Gavin Dempster and Phil Whiteley are both BRT.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I was incorrect. You're right. Dempster and Whiteley there, too, out there as well. And then we've got, it looks like, Team Experimental with Soren Bay and Kim Little. That'll be working together, I believe, as
You
well.
should have seen Soren seconds ago. He dipped his entire body in water. We were in California a month ago. He overheated in the velodrome. That will not happen today. That man is ready to go to war.
All right, so real quick now, let's do a real quick little look at the course that the riders are going to be riding here, or racing on, in just a moment. Let's go ahead and go over to the course preview. They'll be leaving the Watopia Piers, heading on over toward the volcano for a total of 37.5 kilometers, or 8 laps, out on the counterclockwise course. The first obstacle, there is an initial kick of about 4 or 5% these riders have to climb to get to the volcano course. As riders enter the volcano for the first time, they will notice a new feature out on course, the Blue Preem banner. At this banner, points will be awarded toward a points competition within the race. This is going to intensify the race, and riders are going to be thinking about a little bit more tactics as to how they can race each other, not only for the overall, but also for the points classification. The next feature out on course is, of course, the 2-tiered climb toward the lap banner. There's always big power up and over the top of this climb when we get into the volcano for the lap banner. It's the continuance into this second climb that's really going to matter for the riders. That's because another feature has been added to this course, with the lap finish banner also serving as an elimination point for 2 riders on lap 6 and 2 riders on lap 7. Each lap, riders are going to have in the back of their minds, how are they going to approach this climb tactically to make sure that they are positioned correctly to not be the last 2 making their way through this point out of the race. As riders exit the volcano for the first time, they're going to find themselves on a flatter section of the course, a point in the course where they may be able to grab a little bit of reprieve and gain some composure from all of the action. Also, a point out on course at which those who fall off on the 2 tier
may be able to claw their way back to the group. And the group will compact up a little bit at these points, but riders will definitely be thinking about the tactics for the preem banner and the eliminations to come. Will riders save everything for the overall finish? Will they be going for the sprints and the preem prizes? Let's go ahead and find out in all the racing action coming at you in just a few moments.
All right. About them all night, but we haven't talked about them in relation to specifically these athletes, right? So they've got the up front, the preems, you know, the points classification. There's money on the line again. We had a tie in the women's race. So, I mean, you think we might, I don't think we're going to see something similar in this situation. They saw the experience of the women there. I think they're going to be paying some really close attention. Laps 2, 3, and 4 right in a row. Sprints are going to be happening.
What they take away from that, though, is that Kerry Connerberry went for the sprints, and she blew up in big fashion.
That's true. That's true.
Main favorite going into it, the biggest sprinter of the bunch, blew up after doing 3 all-out sprints. She's only human.
Yeah, I think you're right there. There may be a little bit more focus, actually, from some of the riders, actually, on not going. I mean, it's one or the other almost. It looks like with how things went down there. But at the same time, we did see some of the riders who were in the podium position end up with a preem win or at least a podium for the preems as well. So,
but what you're going to see here is that the watts are going to be much higher due to the fact that like Tom Hargreaves and these guys, they are elites out on the road. They're coming in. We're going to see 15, 16 watts per kilo for these sprints if they're actually going for it, which is going to break the pack apart. And everyone is going to be suffering from start to finish here.
I don't think we're ever actually have seen this intensive racing out on Zwift before.
No.
Like, I actually think you guys, like, for everybody watching, I have a feeling you might see the most intense racing you have ever seen out on Zwift because of the preems, because of the points classification, because of the eliminations, and how this course already is a course that continually comes at you, Jesper, right? I mean, you've got the downhill section where people attack a lot of times, you've got the 2-tier, and now right in the middle of it all, you got an elimination and a sprint preem situation with money on the line. These racers are going to have a lot to deal with.
Don't forget that really annoying kick into the finish line, because it's short, but everyone is going to be upping it because nobody wants to get dropped. They're attacking that hill every time. It's not easy. And then when you got the final sprint, you have to time it correct, like Christian did. Otherwise, it's too late.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be all about timing. I also have a feeling that it is a little bit more wide open. I really don't have, I thought I had predictions yesterday. I was like, we did that preview show, and it was like, I think it's going to be A, B, and C. These are my top 3. Now with the riders here in front of me, I have no idea. They're going to have to, we're about to see in a minute 15 from now, but I am really not have a clue.
My favorite part is Frank Bukalo from Russia brought his TT bike. You can see him in the drops there. He came to a crit. He puts the hand up.
That's me with the TT bike. There it is. Speaking of bikes, let's actually take a look in game here real quick. What are the situations for the choices of the bikes here? Let's get a quick little view here of the riders real quick and see if we can see exactly what bikes that they are using. Let's go ahead. We got 43 seconds to go here. Look at all that Tron.
Yeah.
A lot of Tron out on course. Kim Little, though. Is that Kim? They're actually, look at this.
He's on a Cervelo.
S5. With the zip wheels there, actually.
I'd love to understand why. I understand the reasoning behind that.
And then BRT, though, they got the classic kit set up there, as you can see. They've got the orange on orange with that power tap kit on in-game. As you can see off in the distance there, we are seeing a Tacx kit as well with the blue Tron bike, too. KISS Racing Team, 10 seconds to go. Here we go, Jesper. We've been waiting months for this. Let's hear it from the crowd as they get going here in London for the start of this Crit Series final. And off from the gun, we've got a lead out from Kim Little up and out of the saddle now. Team Experimento, Tim Cartwright actually, 9.1 watts per kilogram. What is happening with the riders? And it's going to be a hole shot from Tim Cartwright.
Oh,
actually,
they're not letting this one go.
Not letting this one go at all, as you can see. But wait a second, Hargreaves off the back a little bit. Are we going to see a split right from the get-go here? Krzyzwonos, though, on the front, Team Poland. That's somebody we didn't mention. I think he's going to be representing for Team Poland. Always a strong force at the front end of these races, Team Poland.
somewhere, Daniel Votonia, Peter Szaszynski, they are having a lot of fun watching their representative, Krvonas. And sorry if we're butchering your name up here. We're trying our best, but he's in amongst the best. He's qualified. We've seen him race again and again and again. He was runners-up, I believe, in the Polish National Championship. So he knows how to ride a bike. He knows how to Swift. And we'll see how he's going to play this one out tonight.
I'm actually seeing on the front there, KRT making a little bit of a dig. Looks like it's going just fine, though, with them at this point. So a lot of control, it looks like, coming from KRT. Nobody able to get off the front at this point. Baklov, look at the suffering face from Baklov there. Age 33, coming out of Russia. Zwift level 25. Total time, 10 days, 15 hours and 1 minute out on Zwift. Absolutely demolishing himself. Let's get a quick little look here at Baklov's avatar, actually. See how things are going. 164 beats per minute here, currently coming from Baklov. 105 RPM. He's really spinning, actually, at this point, saving up a lot of energy, as you can see, maybe from that high cadence, Jesper.
That's the thing with the Neo. It's got that massive wheel on the back. You got to turn around. You got to get the cadence up and get that inertia flowing on the Neo. It's one of the main factors riding that Tacx Neo. It's what makes it so quiet and feels so real out on course.
We actually are taking a look at Peter Fone here out of Switzerland, actually hammering away right now. Fone was able to take 8th overall in a time with Vidar Mail, actually, for 8th overall in the series in order to qualify. He was able to get a 3rd place. It was his only podium finish, actually, in the series with that series with 98 points total. Right behind him was Frank Bokolov. You know what's interesting? All the men accepted, you can see. On the top 10 from the series, every single one of them actually accepted their invite here. So you know they were all battling it out seriously to try and make it to this final.
They cleared their schedule every Thursday evening. They were getting ready for this race and this race alone. They want to win this. So it's going to be fun to see them now as they hit out onto the Volcano circuit. And they're getting ready now as they're going to be doing 8 laps in total of the Volcano counterclockwise circuit out on Swift. You can do this circuit at home if you boot up Swift. You can be like the Swift celebrities, the Swift pros.
Actually, that is a good point we haven't brought up yet tonight. Everybody who is watching out there right now, you can just go download the Zwift app and get a 50K. I think it's 50K, right? For the free trial.
There's definitely some free kilometers where you can get to try it out.
You get free kilometers out on Zwift, and you can use it on Apple iOS. You can use it on Mac. You can use it on PC. And if you would like to jump into there, you could actually get into this.
Oh,
Cartwright! We are seeing, and you know what? His avatar is up and out of the saddle. But actually, he's seated with 12 watts per kilogram for a moment there. Cartwright's going for it. The bells are ringing in the crowd right now. People want to see that hometown favorite get away here. Kim Little responds immediately.
Kim is on his wheel.
Dempster gets going here as well. Baklov on the back here now, getting right back into the action. His avatar's up and out of the saddle. A little bit of response. Kim Little now out of the saddle. I can see in the crowd there as well, out on the floor. Amazing, amazing effort there from Cartwright, but nothing happened from it.
Disclaimer alert, this could be the toughest Swift race you're ever going to see on a live broadcast wherever you're watching it. Cartwright, less than 3 kilometers in, puts in a take off the front. This is what he has to do, though. He's got the engine. He just needs to break the peloton, go off solo, and then he can hold watts for days.
And now we're seeing an image there of Dempster as he is trying to stay on tune and onto the pack here. Krvonos there, Phone, Cartwright, and then it is going to be Hargreaves up toward the front. Hargreaves being a sprinter, I think, I have a feeling we might see him going for some preems. Yesterday, though, he said at the same time he wasn't going to give away too much of his tactics. He would not want to lose the race, though, because he went for the preems. So maybe it is an overall for him.
But for Tom Hargreaves, is the preems enough? You want to be crowned the Tacx KISS EU Crit Champion. Who remembers who won the preems at the end of the day? Who remembers who came second or third?
Yeah.
It's about who gets on the top podium. That's all it's about.
Yeah, I think, winning a lot of times isn't going to be everything. Look at this. Look at the head shake there coming from just giving a little head crack, letting everybody know no big deal at this point. I can cover those moves. I've got, that is one of the best, fake it faces maybe I've ever seen out there. What an amazing little intimidation factor coming from Whiteley right now.
He was like, I really shouldn't have stabbed myself in the knee.
That was all about the knee there. Now, we do see the two-tier coming on. We said in the preview that this was going to be the main place. It's only the first time will we see any attacks coming out here from the riders. Again, Cartwright, in his usual fashion, on the front, killing it, 5.3. 5.3 on the front, just chilling.
It's going to go up, Nathan. It's going to come up here. Tim Cartwright, every time with this incline, he's going to kick it up to 6 and 7. Little is reacting to this. He knows how to do this now.
Oh, Kim Little actually maybe looking for that redemption after the bad results a couple weeks ago at the CVR now. 166 beats per minute, 517 watts. Cartwright responds. There's the first kick. That raises the heart rates, but now the arrow power-ups. The arrow power-ups are already going.
10 watts
Here
per
goes
kilo.
Kim Little. Excuse me, Tim Cartwright, 10 watts per kilogram. He's got a 1 second gap. Chris Monos, Team Poland, covers it immediately. Looks like down to 3.5. They're just testing the legs.
Look at Kim's face. It was on screen for just a second. I can see Tim from up here. It doesn't even look like he started riding his bike yet. He's got much more to give.
You know, when it comes to hiding the pain, Tim is really good at it. I remember last time in London, I saw him one time, you know, at the CVR event in London. He definitely was one that would just be totally calm the whole way through. He wouldn't attack off the front, but there was never too much of a pain face. It's always this super focus from him, you know, and he knows his powers. He knows how to put them out consistently and is able to keep control.
Is he racing with a base layer? They just had a close-up look of Tim Cartwright. In an environment like this where you would assume you get really hot, I think he's got a Castelli base layer underneath that KRT kit.
Letting everybody know he's not overheating. He's keeping everything
he's
super
cool.
chill.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's for sure at this point. Now, it looks like everybody's still together. Cartwright there, super calm. Look at that cadence. Steady, almost like he's in recovery pace at this point. Nothing much from Cartwright. I mean, nothing much in the pain from Cartwright. Already giving the attacks out the front, though, and it looks like heading into lap number 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're heading already into some of the sprints.
It could be. We're going to see official information when it pops up on the screen when it's the sprint laps. It's going to be fast.
It is going to be the sprint here. It is coming up here, I believe. Let's get a confirmation if I could. Are we into lap 2? And we are building towards it, and this is going to be the sprint here in just a moment for this. I'm trying to get confirmation. All right, so it is going to be the next lap. Kim Little, 3.2. We did get a too early of a call there, actually, from the comments there. So looking through here, 3.3 watts per kilogram from Kim. Everyone's calming down now, it looks like, at this point. We had a couple of digs early on, but nobody really giving too much at this point. I think everybody realized everyone's pretty much,
equal.
Pretty much the real deal at this point. You know, I think up front you're like, all right, is somebody just going to be gone off the back? Was things way off? It looks like they're not so much. Again, Zada showing that they're knowing what they're doing.
Have you seen Søren Bay up close? He looks like he's ready to do 3 weeks in France in July. That man is trained hard for this. I remember when he showed up a month ago in LA, he was 3 kilos under what he actually raced on Swift. The weigh-in is such a big factor. They train for it. It's almost like boxing. When they come up, and they dehydrate and they get ready to get low as possible and then use that advantage to get your watts per kilo up through the roof.
Yeah, now as you can see, they are heading into the Preem banner for their first lap here. So this is not for a Preem at this point. As you can see, 6.7 kilometers in. A total of 37K of racing is what we're looking at out on course here today. So as you can see, though, Chris Wonos now making his way to the front. He hasn't been on the front a whole lot so far. 165 beats per minute. We will have live power updates as they come in as well for these finals here. Look at that shot of Tom Hargreaves. Looking super calm, focused on the face there. Amazing shot there of Tom Hargreaves. You know, that's one of the ones that we said there is a duo going on. You know, he won the national champions kit, as we said earlier today, and then him and Cartwright back and forth actually all the time.
Little
bit of an attack there. Cartwright digging again. Interesting. And he did the same thing at CVR London. He gives these little digs, and I think he's just testing the crowd, actually.
It's going to break at some point, though. At some point, they're going to be like, I can't take no more. Somebody else is going to have to close that gap. And if Cartwright gets out of the draft, if he gets 2 seconds, it's going to be tough to come back. One thing we do see from Tom Hargreaves, though, is that his eyes are flickering all over the screen. He's reading watts per kilo numbers on the right. He's looking at his own numbers, looking at his heart rate. So many things are going through his mind right now, and he's got to stay on top of that for a good hour of racing.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they're all just going to be thinking about at this time the reservation of as much energy as you can. But the funny thing is, it seems like Cartwright's got a different plan than everybody else so far. I think he has a lot of confidence. At least he's shown so far. There's a lot of confidence. Bakalov there, as you can see, with that pain face. But they all, as you can see there, they're all just kind of focused and making sure that they follow anything that does go. I think at this point, if you really get into the riders' heads at this point, I think that's mainly what they're paying attention to. Is what is the tactic of the other riders? Will they be making these attacks?
It's just so fun to see the different styles of riding their bikes. A month ago, we saw the Swift legend Sadiri keep it with his rocking style. Today, you got Tim Cartwright not faced. You got Bakalov down in the drops. There are some really interesting, techniques on display down there. There are different ways of riding. All that matters is the power that goes through and the strategy of which you actually use that power.
We did just see just a moment ago Kim Little's actual rider view. So just so everybody knows, right now you're looking at the overall view coming from us here in the commentary booth. Now there's an attack coming through. We'll get back in on the – now as you can see here, Kim Little is going, and you can see in the upper left-hand corner as he attacks her, he does have an arrow power up there. There's the real-life effort there that he's putting out there. Up and out of the saddle. He is putting out, it looks like 5.8 watts per kilogram. Not too much of a super serious attack, though. 5.8's not huge. It's, that's not into the orange that we would say. The orange numbers, what are those all about, Jesper? Let's let the crowd
when
know.
you attack. It's when you go up and you up the pace, up the intensity. But Kim's, his philosophy there is attack, don't be attacked. Because everyone is going to up the watts. If you do it first, if you set the agenda like Gavin Dempster's doing right now, no one else can counterattack you because you have the initiative.
Now, you do see Gavin does not have a power-up. I think he just used one a moment ago. I'm not positive.
It was a draft power-up.
There was a power-up that was used. Now, we do see Dempster here. Did not have a power-up. Let's see what he does grab. We are on lap 2. 8.8 kilometer sprint at the Preem Arch is coming up now. So, this is the sprint lap for the Preems. We're going to have 3 places. We're going to have 4 places for the points. It's going to be 5 points, 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point for the top 4 for the sprint. It looks like we're going to be having just a moment here going to the floor in just a moment, but we are going to be having a sprint coming up with Dempster here. Dempster, 4.4 watts per kilogram. He's got a 2-second gap.
He does.
Oh my goodness, this was unexpected.
But it's tough though. It's tough. The blob behind him with Kim, with Cern, with Tom.
Yeah,
Kronos.
I mean, look at it. Already shut down,
they're gonna swallow
Jesper.
him up. This is Swift Racing, though. Right now, unless you are Tim Cartwright, unless you are Rachel Elliott, both racing for KRT, it is very difficult to get off the front and sustain that effort all the way to the finish line. Nice try by Gavin, and I think he'll try it again later, but it's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough here, and we are heading into the sprint now. The halfway point on this lap is when the sprint will go down. We see the ride-ons raining like crazy, and we're going to have some amazing shots here in just a moment of what it looks like to have an all-out sprint for the money that's on the line in this points classification. Lap 2, lap 3, lap 4. It's 3 different sprints for the win for these top 3 places in this classification. There's the shot there of Curry. Look at how calm he is.
He's not even trying.
Look at him. Look at Hargreaves there. Now, higher cadence from Hargreaves. That's an interesting thing to look at the cadences here of the riders. Look at that, though, coming from Cartwright. He looks very calm at this point. I have a feeling he might go for this one.
The reason for that is on a trainer indoor, you have that initial inertia you got to overcome to get that free wattage to get over the top. So if you have a lower cadence and then sprint, the trainer will give you a bit of resistance for you to overcome, which will then result in higher wattages.
Yep,
It's
and so it's
tough
a
for
prep.
sprint
It's a
indoors.
prep. Here it goes, though. Cartwright is kicking.
Oh, here he
there
goes.
it is. Is he going to get up and out of the saddle? He's not even up and out of the saddle. Little's responding immediately. Oh, my goodness. 13 watts per kilogram. Kim Little is in it for the Preem. He comes around. Look at Kim Little. All in, it looks like, for the sprint Preem. Will he be able to hold on to it? He does. Vidar. And then it's Tom Hargreaves for 3rd and 4th place. I'm not sure who 4th was. What an effort.
But the
there from
race
Kim
is still
Little.
on now.
The race
That
is
was the
still on.
Preem.
Phone
If
is
you've
off
been
the back.
dropped, you got to work hard.
That's right, Jesper. Phone is off the back. Bay is off the back.
Dempster.
Kuzwonos is off the back. Bakalov is off the back. Gavin Dempster is off the back.
Oh.
They have to claw their way back to this pack. They're not holding up.
This is what Tim wanted, though. Tim
6.5
wanted this.
watts per kilogram.
This could
He
be
didn't
see
go
you
for the
later.
sprint. Jesper, he didn't go for the sprint. And now he's kicking off the front. Is that a tactic?
Oh, he's holding back now. He's holding back. Maybe being a gentleman, looking around.
I'm not sure. I think they're working together here. Look at this. 2 seconds. Dempster has to pull in at 6 watts per kilogram. 6 watts per kilogram after that kind of kick, it's no joke.
And he's going to have to do that again for the next sprint and the next sprint, and then you've got elimination.
Look at the suffering here. The winner of the preem, we see it there just a moment ago on the screen. It was Kim Little. 5 points to Kim Little, 3 points to Vidar Mail, 1 to Hargreaves and 1 to Whiteley. I think we may need a little bit of a change up there, as I think there's going to be 2.
Yeah.
There's going to be 2, I believe, going to Hargreaves. There it is, the change up, right on cue. Nice job there to our graphics technician there. So that was the result there, and I have a feeling it looks like Kim Little is all in for this sprint competition.
He's
13
also the
watts per
crowd
kilogram.
favorite out there. You can hear the fans. Little known fact about Kim, his first name is actually Oliver. It's Oliver Kim Little that everyone is cheering for out there.
Wait a second. What?
Yeah. Little known fact.
Oliver. I guess we got Oliver out on the bike, Kim Little. Nice job there out to Kim Little. Absolutely taking down that sprint, and I think he's in there for it. We saw 13 watts per kilogram. That was going almost into the red numbers, even though they don't exist out on course.
But that was holding something back. Like, he wasn't going all out. He was going 75, 90%. He's got that extra 10% for the final sprint. It's going to be fast.
It is going to be seriously everything on the line here. Now, here comes the 2-tier. Who's in a little bit of a bother is the question. We saw Dempster having to claw his way back. We are seeing a little bit of a kick. Now, we are seeing a feather power-up. I think Cartwright's using that to look for an arrow power-up. It's a very tactical move, I would think, Jesper. You know, if you have those feather power-ups, use them to reserve a little bit of an energy. Go with these attacks through the tiers and find that arrow power-up for later.
See, if I was Dempster right now or Whiteley and I was suffering on those sprints, I would try to get ahead of it. I would try to get away now before the next sprint lap, because some people just don't have that top-end wattages. Some are just diesel engines like Dempster, and you have to get ahead of it.
Yeah, you definitely do have to get ahead of it, that's for sure. And if he doesn't, I think you might be watching out for some riders to really have put out too much early on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think early on, if they also, I mean, I have a few riders that there might be a few riders at this point that are like, whoa, what have I gotten myself into at this point? They've hung on, you know, and everything, but I think there is a little bit of like, okay, can I hang on to the end here? These boys are super strong.
But at this point, you are riding on adrenaline. Can you really feel your legs? Can you really feel your heart?
The RNG. There's the RNG right now.
The tombola.
What's he going to get? We're looking at Dempster.
Oh,
he's got a feather power up, not the arrow. Every lap he's going to be looking for that arrow power up.
Is that what you want, though, the feather?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you could use it at the right point, but Dempster at this point, we're looking at his avatar right now. At this point, he does have a feather power up. We know that he has it. Maybe he'll use it to get a little bit more watts per kilogram, you know, for the sprint coming up here.
And we can say what power-ups they have because all of the riders are next to each other. They can hear us on the PA system. There are no secrets like there are at home. At home, they save it. Here, it's public information.
We are going to lap 3, 14.4K in. It will be the next sprint, actually, for the points
600 meters
classification.
away, 500
so
meters.
it just keeps coming at you over and over and over again. They're 500 meters out from this sprint. Half a K to go to the next sprint. Is somebody going to go for it early? Will somebody say, well, it didn't work last time. Kim Little had that jump at almost 15 watts per kilogram. Can I handle that? Or is he just be like, are people going to be like, you know what, Kim, you can have this. I'm going to go for the overall win.
But is that sustainable to do this effort every time to go for the preems and for the final sprint on the line to win the title? It's going to be tough. But right now, I believe Tim Cartwright is licking the lips. He wants to see that sprint. He wants to get off the front. If he can just get 2 seconds, they're never going to see him again.
And that's the question. Are people just going to follow the wheel, the ones they know they can go after the sprint? Because really that's part of the tactic too. The sprint, it's going to be about the sprint. It's going to be about the sprint for the classification. But after that, it's not going to be about the sprint any longer. It's going to be about, is there a break after the sprint?
Continuation.
Yeah, exactly. All about the continuance. Nice job there. Throwing that in there, Jesper.
We have, Nathan and I have maybe done a commentary or two, and there are some sort of sound bites that get picked up over the time. We're still looking for a few, Nathan, that I believe the community are looking for you to say out there at some point.
We'll see if we can get the bingo going on out there today. But now we've got Kim Little here, 3.8 watts per kilogram. Current leader in this points classification. It's less than 2. It's about 3K, or excuse me, not 3K, about 0.3K to go at this point. The bells are going off. The riders are on the saddle. And now it's Hargreaves with the lead out. And here comes Mail, but our Mail now, changing it up. The crowd is going absolutely wild. They are screaming.
Oh,
Here
who's
comes
that?
Mail, but no, it's going to be Kim Little again. Mail and then Hargreaves.
But here comes the arrow.
And there's the
Tim
arrow.
Cartwright
Tim
with the
Cartwright.
arrow. You do not want to miss this one. This is the express ticket.
He's taking full advantage of the situation.
Yeah, he
here,
is. He
Jasper.
knew this was going to happen, and now this is his moment. If you can hang on to Tim Cartwright, if you can get on to Tim Cartwright right now, he will drag you to the finish line. If not, it's see you later.
It might be game over if nobody can respond. He's got a 3-second gap.
Oh.
We know that he can hold 5 to 6 watts per kilogram for this kind of duration.
Look at that
One
face.
of the best. Look at the face. He's not even suffering. What is going on here?
I think the masquerade is slowly falling apart
The
now.
masquerade.
You can see
It is
it.
a masquerade out here tonight as Tim Cartwright hides the pain in his legs. 5 watts per kilogram, 4 seconds at this point. Will he walk away with this one like he's done so many times in the lead up to this final?
It's going to be tough now because the guys behind him, they raced enough to know that they have to work together. Tom, Kim, and all those guys in there, they will take turns because they will not let Cartwright go. They know if they give him 10 seconds, he's gone.
Look at Tom. Look at Hargreaves here. You can see the concentration, the contemplation. There's contemplation right now. What do we do?
Yeah.
Can we work together? Can we bring this back? Do we let him go? It looks like they're doing a good job, though. It's only 1 second at this point. It might be all said and done, but as we've said so many times, it's always a race of meters, right? They've put in a huge effort to get back, and we've got the 2-tier, and you know Cartwright's got an attack left.
You just saw on the screen that Tom Hargreaves was getting a ride-on from one of his Noon Sigma Sport teammates.
Real quick, though, Jesper, we got to look at the points here. 10 points. He's walking away with it. Kim Little with these sprints. But our male right on that edge, though. 6 points there. Tom Hargreaves is still in it, and that's it. You know, I think
One more
those 3,
left.
and now it's all about them. It's all about who gets more. At the end of the day, there's 5 points still up for grabs, and still anybody can take it.
First, they've got to catch Tim.
That's true.
Like, he is the Tony Martin. He's the kind of guy that even if he's got 3 seconds.
It was down to 4. It was down to 1.
Yeah.
And we just said they put in a huge effort. They started looking at each other, and he saw it. He
He's
took
gone.
full advantage, and 7 watts per kilogram.
And
They
he's
brought
going to
it
hold
back
this.
to 2.
Somebody's going to have to bridge, and it looks like Gavin Dempster is now on the front. Off the back now, we are seeing Kronos of Team Poland is 26 seconds back. Frank Bakalov is 9 seconds back. He's now using the tri-bars in a bit of a different way. Not so aerodynamic, but it is swift. It's indoor. You don't have to worry about the wind, maybe just yet.
Looks like we may have one of our first eliminations when we get into those laps. Chris Bonos, 4.3 watts per kilogram. If he can't get big with Bokolov and actually work together to get back with riders who might fall off later in the race, that's not done.
No.
It's not over. There's other riders who might be suffering just as much.
They've
so we'll have
caught
to see.
Tim Cartwright in the front now, thanks to the work of Gavin Dempster.
Look, a counterattack, though, from Dempster. As you can see here, as he moves his way past Cartwright. 1 second. Dempster's keeping things active at the
He's
front.
got this. Look at that. He was very adamant about racing under the Scottish flag, the Scottish independence. We'll see what's happening here as he's now looking over. That's not his screen he's looking on, I believe. I believe he's looking to his right and seeing what the other guys are doing.
And it looks like he's got some confidence now with that counterattack, actually. 2 seconds off the front.
6
you
seconds.
think Dempster's willing to hang on to this in TT?
He has
though?
to. I spoke to him earlier, and he said, I don't have a sprint. We can put that
Oh.
out there. He's 6 seconds off the front. I'm a diesel engine, and I'm just going to truck away, and that's what
Look,
he's doing.
you know what he wants? He wants Cartwright to come with him. Look, he's
Oh.
egging him on, and it's a 7-second difference. Now, here's the question.
Oh,
They're not
Mel.
going to let him dangle out there either.
No.
They're not going to let him just hang out there in no man's land and just consistently work to keep it within a certain amount of seconds. There's no team effort out here. It's every man for himself.
Yeah. And looking to the back there, Tom is playing his game. Tom Hargreaves is sitting at the back trying to save energy. He is a very good crit sprinter, doing all the locals ones in London, you know, Crystal Palace, Hillingdon. He knows how to do this, and he's playing his cards so
He
far.
actually is. He's trusting the pack. You can see it. He's contemplating. He's trusting the pack. He's keeping it real. And you can see Hargreaves is definitely making sure that he's sitting in and reserving that energy. He's gone for the sprints. He's still in it for the win for the sprints. I think it's 6 points, I believe, for him at this point. I got to double check on the points there. Now we got another shot here. Look
That's
at this.
Vidar Mail.
Vidar Mail here looking super, super comfy actually at this point. He was actually the rider to bring it back actually to the attack off the front.
And he's already got a share in 1 victory today out on course, telling Christian Falk how to win the ladies category, when to pop the air power up. So let's see if he can complete it for the Norwegians, take home both the ladies and the men's. He's got a great sprint on him.
Look at that shot there now that we had just a moment ago there of the lava coming through underneath the volcano and underneath the bridge there a moment ago. Amazingly. Look at the suffering shot there, though. Oh, my gosh, Whiteley. Looks like he's having a tough time, but he's with him still. It looks like he's really put a lot of effort out there, taking a lot out of the tank so far to hang on with these riders.
It's amazing, though, because in what other game, what other feature can you be doing this level of suffering in a virtual volcano with 10 guys you may have never seen before, but you're actually racing right next to them, and you feel... And you're sharing
and
the
now
pain
here
out
we go.
there.
Sprints coming in here. Vidar Mayo now 9.3 watts per kilogram.
Oh, he's going
Vidar,
for
arrow power up. He's all in.
Kim
he
is not going for
wants
this.
it. I think it's over. Kim is off the back, and it looks like Vidar is able to be able to take this.
But that nullifies the points,
Wait a
though.
second.
Because Kim was up there.
So we're going to have to double check on these points because that's a little bit of a change up. Vidar might have been able to take down.
You think?
We'll have to take a look at the points in a
Quick
second here. I'm
calculation,
not good at the
still
math.
believe.
I don't have a calculator on tap here for what's going on. But it looks like here, Whiteley, now we're looking at his point of view. You can see how high the heart rate has come up. Ooh. You can see that graph at the bottom. This is their point of view. And on that graph at the bottom, when you see it going to that orange, you know they've gone way over threshold into VO2 max, into only what they can handle for about 5 minutes at the top.
That might be a disadvantage today here when you're having that graph on. Oh, wow.
Vidar made it happen. The arrow power was worth it, and he won the points competition. That was the final. He puts his hand in the air. We
But
just
he's
saw
10
that.
seconds off
and
the
then
front still.
Kim Little here, 10 points, and Tom Hargreaves with that third place there. Solid result there. Super happy face there coming from Vidar. He gives us a little bit of a little bit of a cheer on there coming from him. What an amazing effort.
But not only that,
Vidar.
look at the gap he's created. He's
Vidar,
12 seconds off the front.
And with that arrow power up and that attack, we find Vidar off the front. Now, this is not a situation he's usually found himself in. Vidar's always gone for the sprints.
You would imagine he would slowly be reeled in by the peloton. Vidar is a great sprinter, but is this in his best interest? Does he want to go off the front and perhaps get caught or wait for the sprint, and he could take it? He's just shown there that he's one of the fastest sprinters. But we saw Kim. He didn't really contest that one. Is that due to him not wanting to spend energy or not having the energy to do it?
Yeah, I think, that's the question here. The desire or just not having it. That is a great, I look at it though, 4.2 watts per kilogram. I think he knows if they wanted to, they'd bring him right on back. He knows Cartwright's in there and he's in it for the win. Now that's all on the line at this point is an elimination. So I have a feeling he knows what's happening here. He's just holding on to 11 seconds, but that might not. At the same time, there is a reality, though. If they keep on just letting it sit there and sit there, it might be able to stay away. He has to make a decision right now.
I think they're playing with their food right now. He's just bait out there. They're just letting him dangle out there, giving him false hope. Because if Tim Cartwright attacked, 10 seconds would be closed in an instant. If Kim Little sprinted, maybe they're trying to get Vidar Mel to burn his matches before the sprint and give him that false sense of security.
You do see Vidar there. Look at him right there. You see that right there? He was out of the saddle looking over right to left. So he's actually keeping an eye on where they're at. And, the main thing he's thinking about right now is when they do get to him, he's not suddenly off the back because they come on so much quicker. And a lot of times people think it's like, I'm just going to be able to jump right in, and they think because of the watts per kilogram are the same, they don't understand. It's like real life. The speed needs to be the same, right? And so he's making sure the speed is right so that when that gap that we're seeing there in-game right now is closed, he's going to be able to jump right into the pack here. It's only 5 seconds. We're all good and go. There's the concentration on Soren Bay's face. He is seriously concentrated at this point. I think it's all about reservation of the energy.
And that's not just sweat. He actually dipped himself in water to cool down prior to the race, because when he races at home in Denmark, it's cold. It's a garage he races in. It is -1 to 2 degrees. He's not used to this heat.
Four to go, Jesper.
We got elimination coming up soon.
Yeah, we got elimination. 2
play.
laps to go, and then we have an elimination coming up. I believe it is.
So what's
right
going to happen
there.
is Bakulov and Kruvanos are naturally eliminated. Søren pours more water over himself to stay cool, but they'll be eliminated. But then we have a group of 8. And on that second elimination lap, hell is going to break loose.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Now, Cartwright here, I think he's getting sick of seeing that gap. Bumps it up, 6 watts per kilogram. solid effort here from him. Give him a ride on, as you can see.
And you gave him a ride on.
Let's start seeing the ride-ons coming on through from everybody, as I just did, if you're watching in-game, or if you're watching and you have your Zwift companion app, which you can download right now from your Play Store or your Apple Store. You can go ahead and go on there, download the Zwift companion app, and you can find these riders out on Zwift, do a quick little search, follow them, as well as hit your ride-on for the riders to give them some encouragement live in the race right now. Look at that supper face coming from Baklov. He looks like he's just hanging on.
Yeah, but he is actually a minute and 30 seconds back, so he is not quite hanging on just yet. He's not giving up, though. But when they come to the elimination lap, it's going to be difficult because rules are rules, and he's currently in the bottom 2.
You know what? For him at this point, it's all about the pride of the situation, though.
Yeah.
He's holding off Krzywonos. He wants to not be last place, and there's something to be said about that.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now, though, because in the ladies, when we got to this point, the watts came down a tiny bit. There was a sense of security. They all knew they were going to make it. It will not be the same for the men's. Elimination's coming up. Who's going to get that rep buzzer going, you're out?
That's true. It is a very different situation with the eliminations on the final elimination. Right now, we do have 2 off the back. On the final one, unless things break up between now and then, we are definitely going to see a situation where the riders are going to be in much more of a pressure in the lead group. Yes, looks like Dempster does still have 10 seconds. He's still dangling out there. Wait a second. It was
counterattacked.
So
Mel was off the front.
Yeah.
Mel got caught. We were talking about the ride-ons. We're still calling out ODC, by the way, to release the Kraken with their ride-on bombs. Dempster counterattacked in the midst of all of that. When everyone was listening to us talking about fictive ride-on thumbs, Dempster knows what he's doing.
Dempster, like you said, is going for the TT off the front. He said he doesn't have a sprint. He's off the front here. The supper face is there. Look at it. He's contemplating, is this the right move?
But he's
I've
smiling.
got to be all in for it. There's a little bit of a smile. He's got the attention. He's got the camera face on there, as you can see, letting everybody know that he has got the power right now at 5.3 watts per kilogram. But Cartwright, who is very close to him and looks super calm, is putting down about 6 watts per kilogram. It's down to 6 seconds. On the back, though, Noon Sigma Sport, Tom Hargreaves there, Kim Little, both definitely favorites coming into the race here. Now sitting on the back, just letting everybody else do the work.
But the result of this, Gavin Dempster may not win the race in this fashion. He may be burning too many matches, but the pace is going through the roof. So all of these sprinters that thought they could come in, sit in, follow the wheels, and then unleash hell in the sprint in the end, that's not going to happen now because Gavin and Tim Cartwright, they're just going to attack again and again and again and again.
We're coming into elimination, but we have 2 off the back already. So we can chat about the elimination. It is on its way here as we are into then we must be on lap 6 then for the elimination. So lap 6, lap 7, and then into the final for the win is what we've got coming up. So Dempster, though, off the front here, we will have an elimination, but it still will be between Baklov and Krzywonos, who are off the back at this point. If Baklov can hold off Krzywonos, as we're seeing here from coming out from Team Poland, out of Poland, as you see here, Baklov still hammering away in order to hang on to that gap now at this point in order to at least get a 9th place instead of a 10th.
So we're over halfway in the racing now, Nathan. I nailed the female prediction winner. Now it's your turn. Who do you think is going to take this win?
Oh my goodness. So Baklov, we're seeing some suffering there from him. It's not, I mean, it really hurts. Look at that. He is doing everything he can to hold off Krzywonos. To answer your question here, Cartwright looks so comfortable. I'm going to keep it very pragmatic in that sense. Look at how comfortable Cartwright looks. He just seems like unfaded, 165 beats per minute. He's playing it pretty smart, that's for sure, but I'm not sure if it's going to be, I'm not sure if there's going to be kind of an upset. We'll have to see, though. We did see Vidar Mail, super strong. Lots of attacks coming on here now. Dempster here, 6.5 watts per kilogram. Kim Little now throwing down 8 watts per kilogram, as you can see, trying to close things down. Foe now, 5.3 as well. Whiteley there, 8 watts per kilogram. Noon Sigma Sport Rider here with Tom Hargreaves hanging on just fine. Cartwright sitting in, it looks like. Actually surprised to see that. Actually, the tactic from Tim so far seems to be, if it's an attack, it's everything. Otherwise, he just follows.
I think he's just having fun. I think he's just playing around. I think when we get to the final lap, if he doesn't get eliminated somehow and messes up, falls asleep, and gets eliminated, I think he's going to attack so hard in the final 4 kilometers that Kim and Tom and all these great guys, Søren Bay, they're going to suffer just to hang on to that wheel. But we'll see when we get there. It is still about 13 kilometers away from the finish now. as we're watching the riders come over the finish
Yeah,
line again.
we are looking at the face of Gavin Dempster here. He's off the front by 6 seconds. It is in his plans, from what we were saying earlier, to get away off the front of he see him at 3.0 watts per kilogram, but I think he's got to let the ghost go at this point. And we're starting of the elimination lap now. At the start of the elimination lap, it's a battle at the back here between Bogolov and Chris Womonos, as you can see. The first elimination lap, lap 6. We are on the lap 6 right now, 4.6
Well, some of
watts
them
per
are
kilogram.
on lap 6.
Look at him. Head down. Just doing everything he can. Sticking the tongue out here.
He's playing up to the
20
crowd.
seconds.
I love it. We have a live audience here that can see the suffering, and Frank is not giving up without a fight.
He is not giving up another fight. Chris Womonos is not as well, though. 3.2 watts per kilogram here, so you can see 167 beats per minute here. He's doing everything he can to represent and try and get back on terms with this rider to try and take 9th place instead of 10th.
Oh, see, I've never seen Tom Hargreaves in that much distress. He just took the towel all over his face to try and keep himself dry. He's looking left, he's got Gavin Dempster, and then on the right, he's got Tim Cartwright. That's a pretty explosive sandwich he's in the middle of there.
I know that Tom was unable to do some training last week. He had a little bit of an illness, I know. I think he may be coming on stronger toward the end of the race. A lot of times when you don't get a lot of training in, you got to start opening up the legs again. A lot of times it takes a little while to really get them going. And I have a feeling the second half of this race, we might see some action coming out from Hargreaves.
We'll see. Now they're still resting, sitting in. But this is the point, though. If you don't pay attention, somebody could attack and somebody could get away at just this point. And we're looking at Bay. We're looking at Whiteley, who have been quite anonymous so far, to try and spice things up, to maybe go on an attack.
Looks like we're cycling through the riders here to see what exactly do they have on board for the RNG, the random numbers game, the little bit of chance that's in the game that gamifies things up a little bit. It does look like we do have a drafting power up on Tim Cartwright. He's going to want to use that.
He's going to spend that next time around.
Just need to get rid of it. I mean, what's that worth?
You need, in this company, you need an aero power up. It's going to make the difference.
And so it looks like Hargreaves here with an arrow power up there sitting in. Then we've got Dempster there hanging out with that feather power up. Vidar Mayo, it looks like Boglov's going to be having the drafting. Not going to matter too much unless he gets caught. Then we are seeing Kim Little here with an arrow power up. Don't think he's going to be using it. He is giving us a little bit of sprint to that preem line just for fun, it looks like here, or actually for an attack. Whiteley there with an arrow power up
he's
as well.
going for this.
Definitely does matter actually with the, Whiteley's arrow power up. Definitely matter. Phone there, no power up for Phone. That's going to be an interesting situation, as you do see Bay here, though, also with an arrow power. So about half the field look with what they're looking for.
So it is random, but technically you could enter the race with an arrow power up and not pop it until the end.
That's
so
true.
there is strategy. You choose to use that power up and play the numbers game.
Looks like a little distress there from Kim Little.
No.
He did attack off the front just a moment ago, though.
He's got his girlfriend down there, the lovely Gemma Anchors. Great
What?
last name. Well, there's an S in the end. It's not quite Anchor. She's lovely. She's cheering him on. I'm sure she is giving him some heckle as he's trying to race harder.
Kim is on the front here, as you do see. Let's go back to the battle here, though, to hold on. It looks like Frank Bogolov is about to have an elimination, but he did hold off for ninth place overall, actually. He is 219 back, though, from the leaders at this point, which shows you how important it is to hang on to those front groups, because look at the watts per kilogram they're putting out right now. It's not a whole lot out there at this point.
Oh, this is making me scared, though, because on Tuesday I'll be racing CVR against Gavin Dempster. How am I supposed to keep up with that?
Absolutely flying Dempster, as you can see. Now we're seeing Kim Little here, keeping it pretty calm, as you can see at this point, 3.4 watts per kilogram. I don't know if we're going to see too much of a battle to the line here, as there isn't really a threat at this point for an elimination. It's going to be about the lap following that. So there's going to be 2 laps to go, and 2 riders that are in this pack at the end of the next lap are going to be eliminated.
In the chat right now, wherever you're watching, type down the 2 names you think will get eliminated, get cut off at the end. It could literally be anyone.
Let's hear it over at the chat. Facebook, we're on Mixer, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube. Let's see those comments right now. Who do you think at the end of the next lap will be eliminated? Who will be the 2 riders that are a part of this lead group that will be eliminated at the end of the next ride? Cartwright here.
Here goes Tim.
8 watts per kilogram, actually. He is attacking. Now, there is not an elimination on the line from this group, but he doesn't care.
He doesn't
wants to
need
get
an
off the
excuse
front.
to attack. Tim Cartwright does what Tim Cartwright wants.
That is right, and he is the king of KISS racing, that's for sure. When you look at the overalls for the 10 races, he's got the most golds out of all the riders. 9 watts per kilogram. With the continuance up and over the top of the first tier, this is the one that puts the pain in the legs here. Now Hargreaves, though, going to have to follow it up and staying on the wheel. All the riders definitely know that this is the moment. That's the first time I've seen pain in the face.
Look at the
of Tim
contrast.
Cartwright. Next to each other, he was looking, though, he looked to the right. Or he looked to the right, just to his left at that moment to see if he was able to break. If he was able to break one of his main competitors, Tom Hargreaves, it did not
arrow
happen.
power by the back here. We got Kim Little in trouble. 2 seconds back. He's having to pop his arrow to get back on. Come on, Kim.
That is a huge, huge effort here from Kim Little. Kim, can he get back on turn? 2 seconds is the difference, as you can see here. Absolutely hammering to try and hang on. This is a moment of truth here for Kim Little, as it's 166 beats per minute. 5 seconds is the difference. He's gone. It looks like it might be said and done. And with Kim off the back, they are not going to hold up being one of the biggest threats in the race. I don't think they're going to slow down.
That was Tim Cartwright walking into the sandbox and kicked off everyone's sandcastle and went, okay, playtime is over. It's time for the real men.
Look at the graph. You can see it. That's the biggest amount of orange we've seen on the graph in the last whatever minutes it is on the graph there. You definitely know he is suffering. The pain on the face there is real. Look at Cartwright,
Is Cartwright going back for him? Is
no. He might have. What's going on with Cartwright? He just attacked. Did he get countered?
I think he could actually be going back for Kim right now to try and help him back to the front. That is the sort of thing Tim and Kim would do together. They are quite good friends. We're seeing.
Look, he's shaking the head. He's shaking his head. It's an upset. Oh my gosh, can he bring it back? The king of KISS racing is off the back. It's 8 seconds. Dempster is not going to hold up. Full advantage being taken. Phone, Dempster, Tom Hargreaves as well. Vidar Mail, Whiteley, they've all made it. It's 10 seconds. Kim Little and Tim Cartwright, they are caught out.
What's happening? Tim looked really, really good. We really need Juliet down there with a microphone asking him right now. I know he's suffering.
He's not going to be able to speak at this point, though. I mean, look at this, though. Will he work with Kim Little? Will they bring it back? It's 20 seconds at this point. This is one of the biggest upsets that we've ever seen in KISS racing. Cartwright off the back, 3.9, 185 beats per minute. I have seen this heart rate only a few times from him.
Wow.
This is a serious effort.
The pressure's gotten to Tim Cartwright. Tim and Kim off the back. If you would have said this 40 minutes ago before the race started, we would have said blasphemy. No way. But this means an underdog is going to win, or Tom Hargreaves.
You know, here they're back together here. Cartwright trying to hang on. Can he get back on? Can he get back on to the wheel? He gives it a little kick. 6 watts per kilogram, as you can see here. 175 beats per minute. What an upset. The chat is going crazy. I can see it over there. But look, can they bring it back? I'm not sure it's going to happen. And now we are going to get into it. It's going to be an elimination in a moment here. In about a half a lap. In a half a lap, it's not going to matter anymore because they'll be eliminated.
I do believe, though, 19 seconds with Kim Little and Tim Cartwright is manageable to gap back if the front guys don't work together.
It's gonna have to be everything they've got.
Yeah.
And at that point, there's gonna be a lap to go.
But look at Gemma. She's screaming onto Kim right now over the monitor, trying to give him some encouragement.
This is a great shot. She's actually yelling in Kim's face right now. Get moving. Get on that wheel. Move it. Work with Tim. Get back on those wheels. This is it. It's all or nothing.
But even better, he's also got Zach Rogers, Swift legend, telling him how to race this race right now. Come on, Kim. Everything you've got.
Now, here's the thing. This front group no longer has to think about them besides holding them off the wheel. You know, it looks like they've cracked at this point. A lot of the chat is saying, nope, it's not coming back. There's no way it's going to happen here. 3.9 watts per kilogram currently from Storm Bay, and these boys are soaking it in at this point. They know some of the favorites are off the back, and they are loving it. That is for sure. Kim Little and Tim Cartwright might be eliminated. It looks like it's going to happen. To close down 23 seconds, the only way it's going to happen at this point is on this downhill. If it's full on speed all the way into the flat and they hold 30-some, if they hold, up into that 60 kilometers per hour all the way to the line.
Oh, you were trying to get into miles there. It's okay, Nathan. We're seeing the riders off the front now, but now it's 4 versus 2 in that front group because we got the 2 sprinters, Mail and Tom Hargreaves, but then Whiteley, Dempster, Bay, and Fawn. They're going to have to work together now because if it comes down to a sprint, it's going to be really difficult to beat Tom and Vidar Mel. They're going to have to attack.
Yeah, that is true. Vidar Mayo, Tom Hargreaves, I would agree with you, favorites for the sprint now at this point. They no longer have to worry about the eliminations. Now it's all about kudos.
Yeah.
It's all about pride. It's all about who's in for the placing for the likes of Little and Cartwright. Cartwright looks to have let Little have it, though, at this point. I'm not sure he's going to sprint it out for a place any longer.
I'm really interested to see what happened with Tim once the race is over, once he gets eliminated.
Well, you know what I think happened there, Jesper? He attacked going into that climb and then got countered immediately.
Oh.
It was a counter that came at him at a time that I think he had put too much out there for it.
But enough dwelling on that. We've got 6 great riders off the front now that deserve all the credit in the world to make it here, the very, very end of the KISS Tacx EU Crit Finale.
Yeah, so Fawn here now, he actually had no power-up going into that last lap. He got a feather, so he used it there to reserve a little bit of energy and just stay at the front, it looks like. He's looking for some serious luck right now in order to hit that arrow power-up.
But I believe this is the final lap they're now heading towards. With 4.4 kilometers to go, they are now going to enter the final lap. So if you got your bells out in the audience, it's time to get them ready and get them swinging as the 6 riders enter the final lap, the final 4 kilometers of this season's crit racing on Zwift.
Yeah, and so now we are looking through here, and it's going to be an elimination here at the back, but it's going to be between Kim and Tim Cartwright here. Kim Little, Tim Cartwright. So the UK national champion is going to get eliminated. It just depends on what place he's going to take. Now we are seeing the bell
Ring
lap
the
is starting.
bells.
We're into the final lap. Is someone going to take a flyer off the front? Is it going to come down to a sprint finish? This is it. Real quick here, let's take a look at Kim Little. We do see an effort here coming from him. The crowd is cheering him on. Tim Cartwright doesn't look like he's going to take that next place up. So it looks like Kim Little will be finishing in 7th place overall.
So 4 kilometers to go, everybody. Time to get your predictions in the chat. We're down to the six greatest, fastest, and smartest racers on Zwift in Europe. Let's see what they can do.
We did just see Whiteley there, a little bit of a pain face on him. He was able to make this final here into the last 6 racers out on course. Phone is there as well out of Switzerland. Now, international field, let's talk about that real quick as we head into this final here. Switzerland, we're seeing Scotland, we're seeing Denmark, we're seeing Norway, we're seeing the UK, all represented here. Chat, who's it going to be? I want to see chat blow up with your predictions over there at all the places, Facebook, YouTube. We're over on Mixer. We're over on Twitch. Let us know who you think is going to win. Let's see the ride-ons go to your favorite riders as they make their way to this final half a lap.
Who's going to attack? They cannot take this to a sprint. You cannot take Tom Hargreaves of Noon Sigma Sport to a sprint. Somebody's going to try to rattle him now.
And speaking of that, he's played it perfectly. He has played it so perfectly. He's sitting in with an arrow power-up, 167 beats per minute right now. Look at Phone. Now, here's the story with Phone.
And
he has a broken, he's got a hair fracture in his back. And he's been actually riding on Zwift exclusively because he can get away with it actually and not ride outside after having a broken bone in his back actually. He is riding with that training actually.
Oh, it's
so
interesting to see what happens
so
now.
it looks like an elimination has happened. I just got official elimination from Kim Little and Tim Cartwright. That was quite the upset there between them. Now we're into the final half a lap, though, as we're going through the points banner. Those points have been decided already for the points competition, but now it's going to be all about who can take the W. And Tom Hargreaves, we've seen him sprint time and again in this. Leading up, actually, into this final, he only had like 7 races to do it. And he proved time and again that he can sprint and get the points when it's needed. Does he have it here in the final lap?
2 kilometers to go. Who's going to take it up? Who's going to take the initiative to go off the front and try to do the impossible? It's Zwift. It's 6 riders. You're never going to get better odds. 1 out of 6, you're going to be the champion. Take that, roll the dice, and see what you get.
So we are seeing here, it looks like Mayo just keeping it pretty chill at the front. It is definitely calming down. Bay there, making sure he doesn't find himself off the back here. Dempster, there is the focus there. There's Gavin Dempster there, serious focus. Maybe one of the new favorites here out on course after we've seen 2 of them go off the back in the elimination now. Hargreaves now 3.10 at the front now, definitely one of the favorites. I think a wild card is going to be Phone, though. He surprised me here today.
Whiteley, though, he was sitting up. He was going to back up, resting. He's in the front group. And he was not even having hands on the handlebars.
This is true, actually. Whiteley, you know, I have a feeling with Whiteley, he definitely was showing that there was confidence. Definitely with a little bit of almost a taunt. If you could have taunts or emotes in game that were taunting other riders, he did it in real life, actually. There's the taunt. There's the emote that he threw out. I'm doing no big deal now, but I think it might be a little bit of a bigger deal. He's looking fairly calm to me, though, from the booth up here right now. We are seeing that Bay has an arrow power-up and is set to go. Had a solid result at CVR, I believe.
He struggled a lot, but yes, he did quite well in that. He struggled with the heat like he did here, but there he had his great girlfriend to dip his jersey in ice water and swap it. So he had 2 jerseys, dip, swap, every 10 minutes. She's not here. She's home with the kids, so shout out to her.
So that's why he's dousing himself
But he's
with
doing
water.
great here.
He definitely is. He's in the top 6 at this point, but now it's about those top 3 podium spots.
Who's going to go? We're almost into the final kilometer, the Flamme Rouge. Are you really going to take Vidar Mel and Tom Hargreaves to a sprint? Who is going to attack? We're waiting for it.
There's no choice any longer.
No.
There's no choice any longer. It is a sprint situation now at this point. Hargreaves looks so calm. Dempster looks calm. You do see the look to the right there from Bakalov to see what's going on with the other riders. When are they going to go? We saw it in the women's race. When was it won? It was won immediately once they hit the top of the tier. When they exited they actually entered the volcano, that was the moment.
We're turning left, Nathan. This is it. They're going to go up the incline. It's all about drafting, though. You want to be second, third wheel going into this. Take advantage of somebody going early, and you can sit, relax, and then kick.
The tension in this room, I'm looking at the crowd right now, and they are all just looking on in awe of what the riders are doing.
Make some noise, everybody.
Waiting
Come
for the
on.
action. Let's hear the boys. The bells are ringing. The crowd's going wild. Here we go into the first tier. It's Phone. It's Dempster. It's Hargreaves. Can Hargreaves do it? Is it going to be a Tom Hargreaves? Is the duck
It's not
gonna
the
make
wheel
it
you
happen?
want.
9.2 watts per kilogram. Nobody's made the official kick yet. It's into the orange numbers, though. 10 watts per kilogram.
Arrow!
They're still waiting. There's the
Draft,
arrow power
arrow.
up. 4 watts per kilogram.
There it is,
Vidar
Nathan.
Mel. They're up and out of the saddle. Hargreaves is going. Dempster is going. Who's going to get it? It looks like it's going to be Vidar Mel.
Oh, Hargreaves is playing this perfectly.
13 watts per kilogram. 13 watts per kilogram. Hargreaves giving everything. It's Tom Hargreaves. But can he hold on? Here comes Gavin Dempster.
Oh,
Dempster.
no. Is it gonna
Oh, my
be?
gosh.
What?
Dempster.
One more.
Dempster's going to do
Vidar
it.
Mel.
It's Gavin Dempster. Oh, my goodness, with the upset. You said he wasn't a sprinter, but he made it happen. The smile, the reaction. Gavin Dempster is your KISS Grid KEU champion.
Well played. He played me, Nathan. He got me to say everyone he wasn't a sprinter. And he beats Tom Hargreaves, Vidar Mel. Again, it comes down to the race strategy. He used the power by the right time. Look at the joy from the Scotsman. What a job done by him. BRT can be happy. Well done.
What an amazing effort there. The Scotsman pulls it off. I gotta have, do we got like some sort of Braveheart quote? Like, what an amazing job there coming from Dempster. We're going on over to Juliet right now.
Well, I'm here with the winner. I'm trying to get a reaction from you when you can hardly speak, let alone breathe. So how do you feel after that?
I can't breathe.
It was an amazing, amazing sprint. We were all just with, you know, cheering everyone on with no idea how it was going to pan out. So was that what you were expecting to happen?
I can't believe that. I thought I'd messed that up. I was in the wrong gear halfway up the hill and then just. Oh, I can't believe that.
Well done. It was amazing. And do you feel like the power-ups are important in this race? Did you make use of those today?
You have to be really clever with them. And yeah, it made a difference. Yeah, I was lucky with power-ups. I had the right power-ups the whole way through, and yeah.
Okay, well, I'll let you get your breath back. I'm going to go to Tom, who we all thought was the favourite at one point. Tom, how do you feel after that?
A bit tired. A little bit tired, yeah. It was hard. It was a hard race. Yeah, it's what I thought it would be. There were attacks in the middle that definitely, I think, burnt a few matches for all of us. And then I guess, congrats on the win there, because that was a hard, fast sprint at the end.
Absolutely. Well, at the end of the day, someone's got to make a move, and it looked like you went quite early, and we all thought you had it. Do you think, with hindsight, maybe you would have gone a little bit later?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, at the time, it felt like the right time to go, but I guess in the races we do to qualify for this, there's like 50 people coming to the line rather than 6, and so yeah, maybe I should have gone a bit later, but you live and you learn.
Absolutely. Well, it's hard to know how things are going to work out in a race. I'm going to hand over to Nathan and Jesper. I think they're up in the commentary booth.
Yeah, I think we're still here. Did we survive?
My heart rate hasn't come down yet.
Oh, my goodness. So, you know, I think that was really, when it comes to the story of the sprint.
Yeah.
I mean, that was about timing. Dempster, there is a reality of drafting still when you're in a sprint with an aero power-up, right?
Yeah. The thing is positioning. I was saying that going into the sprint, Hargreaves was top 3. He's a much better racer than I am, but that positioning right there left a bit to be desired, and that in the end was his downfall. But as he said, he's used to racing with hundreds of riders to draft off. This is so different, so unique. It's difficult to predict what to do, when to do it.
Yeah, that was absolutely all about Dempster timing it correctly and holding the wheel, I believe,
yes,
to the perfect time while using an aero power-up. Because even while you're using that aero power-up, there's still the others around you gaining the speed. And if you have a wheel, Tom had no wheel. He might have had a reduced CDA, a reduced drag on his avatar, but that didn't give him the greatest advantage. And Gavin Dempster, as we see there in shot, giving the high five to Peter Phone, shaking hands with Soren Bay there, takes the W because of how well he was able to time that attack.
And as Tom said, the attacks in the middle burnt matches. At the very end of it, it was the strongest rider who won. Gavin Dempsey might not be a sprinter, but that man could go on for days. I'm pretty sure you can jump back on the bike and do another kiss. Is there one at 9? Is there another kiss race?
I think Tim and Kim might do one.
Yeah, I would very much like to hear from Kim and from Tim, because they were the massive pre-race favorites. You saw Tim Cartwright. Something must have happened. It'll be for a great story, and I'm sure they'll get there.
Yeah,
later.
I hope we do get that story because, you know, that was actually, I mean, we said King of Kiss Racing coming in. He had the most wins in the series. We thought for sure that was going to happen. But I think when they all got in the room here together and he was playing those games a little bit, it might have been too many games. It might have been too many rolls of the dice.
So it sounds like we're hitting the last stage, or the last point of the race again. And we're going to talk you through all the action as it happened with a quick replay. Now that we know what's going to happen, we can point out exactly what went right and what went wrong for some of these racers.
So here we go, a little bit of the replay. This is Kim Little here, it looks like, for the elimination as he's coming in for that upset, actually. Cartwright off the back, so that is the 7th and 8th place that we're looking at there. So definitely going to want to get that story.
Kim did get second in the points category, though, so he walks away with 250 quid.
That's amazing. That's, I mean, still an awesome, I mean, he got something out of it, but it looks like he suffered for it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Now we are seeing here as they're moving into the last lap here. This is the whole of the last lap. We're going to be watching here, and we're going to talk our way through it. As we do see here, Gavin Dempster, who did take the W there. Hopefully we get a couple, I did a couple shots there from the viewer mode of Dempster. We are seeing 2.4 watts per kilogram for him there. What's going to be really interesting if we look at the averages actually overall as well. Dempster actually out of the whole of the race here, when I'm looking at the live results, did put out about 4.3 watts per kilogram more than anyone else. And I think that was the early attack off the front. I mean, so at this point, I believe if you do see, he is staying the calmest, I believe, one of the calmest in the group there. You don't see him really pushing much over 3.5 or anything during any of these points.
Now, Søren Bay and Peter Phone, and there's also Whiteley's in there. They had to try something from distance. They must have known from experience that they could not win that sprint straight up. They sat in, they rested. You can see them drafting. We were saying at this point that to choose something. Søren Bay kicks it up to 10 watts per kilo, but that's just to try and move up the ranks. Perhaps the pace was too high. Maybe they had nothing left. Anyway, they made it to the final top 6, which is an incredible feast in this company. It was a great race, and you can see it again now. They're sitting in. They're getting ready for that sprint.
Yeah, you do see they are getting ready for the sprint. It's about the half lap point now in this replay. Hargreaves there, we did say that he was the favorite here. He's keeping it pretty chill here, as you do see. And, you know, I think the riders here at this point, it's just going to be the lull. This is the lull before the storm, and they actually kept it pretty calm, actually, all the way until that tier climb.
And even on the climb, it was 7.
It was kind of like, It was kind of timid. It was a little timid,
But
wasn't
that's
it?
not fair. The race overall, you saw the suffering. You saw what they went through.
You
It's
know,
easy for
we're
us.
sitting here in the
this
commentary booth.
Yeah.
What a timid race.
Yeah.
So chill. When in reality, we just saw some of the most intense racing we've ever seen out on Zwift.
At the end
So
of the day.
intense that Tim Cartwright and Kim Little were falling off the back.
Still a fun story that's laying out there somewhere that we will get at some point. So stick around from that because we're going to hear all about it at one point. But again, these guys, they could do 5 laps of the volcano before. I could do 3. Maybe Nathan could do 4 at this point. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen you on Zwift.
So I'm out riding on Zwift, Up to West and stuff. Let's get it, but you know, I'm on the Up to West challenge. I want that 25 total for sure. But now we're looking here at the front though of the replay.
1.5 to go here.
1.5 to go, like you said, and it's going to be little off the, gone off the back. Whiteley there, as you do see, hanging out the back, 4.1, making sure that he does not find himself, suddenly with a gap at any point. And this is one of the dangerous points, actually. A lot of people, when you find yourself underneath the road, that's always really dangerous. But this point right here, a lot of people don't understand that this downhill, a lot of riders actually use it as an attack point. We used to call it the David Allenby Classic attack. Tim Cartwright as well. Those TT specialists try to get away at this point. And so that did not happen here, though. But it is a point where you need to really pay attention.
Definitely. We can see the riders now with 1K to go. They do the downhill, left turn, straight ahead. And again, also the power ups came into display. So
Look at the heart rate, Jasper.
150?
Yeah, that's the lowest I think I've seen it all race.
Yeah, but at this point, they were sitting at 2.8, 3 watts per kilo.
They were really just saving up for the sprint. It was all about the sprint. They knew it.
They can go to 5, they can go to 6, and they can hold it for quite a while. So this is the equivalent of most people's sub-2 group ride on a Friday evening.
Yeah, at this point, except for the championship is on the line. It's the actual Tuesday night
and you have a live audience heckling you down the entire way through.
And the audience, really, shout out to the audience. It went nuts.
Shout out to
I mean,
Tacx
absolutely
as well.
crazy at
Tacx
the end.
supplied 10 trainers for us to use downstairs. All the staff on board to give so much help to make all of this run smoothly, to get riders ready, to get everything set up. It's good, though. And now this is the left turn, Nathan.
Yep, we're heading into this left turn here. They're about to head into that first tier, and we can actually see how this sprint actually played out, where the mistakes might have been made. Let's keep close eye on what the positioning is and when the attacks actually do take place. We're seeing Whiteley here making his way to the front, still 2.8 watts per kilogram. No orange numbers just yet, no real rise. Dempster's actually the first to get ahead of it, and that's a little bit of a fade there climbing.
You want to be at the front on the actual climb, but when you get to the top, you want to slot in the back because everyone else is going to come fast by you. But if you attack and not be attacked here, that's the strategy. That's what Dempster's doing. Once they get to the top, someone else takes it up.
You're so right. Dempster is right always third wheel.
Yeah.
First wheel to third wheel. First wheel to third wheel. Waiting, waiting, waiting. He doesn't go all in. He hit 12 for a second, then backs off. Hit 12 again for a second, backs off. It backed off again. Now Hargreaves is already all in at this point. Arrow power up is gone, and look at where Dempster is.
The draft.
Yep, sitting in the draft, third wheel again, completely perfect timing on holding it. They're all about even at this point, and since he's sitting there and Hargreaves is on the front without any draft, he uses that extra draft and speed as well as the energy he's reserved there to come flying by at the last moment, and it ends up being Dempster, followed by Mail, and then it looks like Tom, if we do get that correct, across the line. Dempster, Mail, and Tom, I believe. But Bay came across at the last second. We're going to have to wait for the official results, actually, here.
Here they are.
It believes it's Dempster, Mail, and Hargreaves. That is actually it right there.
Bay 4th, Whiteley 5th, and Thorne 6th.
That is the results there. Now, it looks like we're heading on over for the for an interview with some of the contestants.
Thank you. I'm on the floor with the points competition winners here. I've got Tom, Vidar, and Kim. How do you feel that the race went? I know that you were looking for a win. But I'm sorry. I've got someone in my ear there. How do you feel that the points competition went? Were you expecting to finish where you did?
Yeah, that's about right. I was trying to go through all the laps. I wasn't quite sure which one was which, so had a crack at all of them and just hope the points would add up and get some sort of good result out of it.
Well done for coming in second. And Vidar, of course, you were the winner there. Was it your goal to win the points competition? Was that something you'd planned in advance?
No, I didn't have any plan at all. I just try, and when I saw an opportunity from the last sprint, I just have to try. But
Absolutely, and it's interesting to mix things up with the points competition. How do you feel that affected the entire race?
It made the whole thing just that bit harder, a lot harder. I mean, a lot of us qualified by surfing the wheels and then winning a sprint or coming top 10 at the end, and you couldn't miss a sprint this time. There were a few moments where people attacked off the back of a sprint and you had to follow that, and if you didn't, you were dropped, and that eliminated some people halfway through the race. Tim attacked off the top of one of them as well, and it just, yeah, you're constantly chasing something and burning matches along the way.
Well, it was really exciting to watch, and I do believe we've got some prizes for you guys. I think along with the points, you win some cold, hard British cash, so that's on its way. But in the meantime, we're going to hand back to Nathan in the commentary booth. I think.
Well, there's certainly puddles of sweat on the floor behind me. What a tremendous night of racing we've had here at Bespoke in the heart of London. Now, I'm going to ask our winner to just run across the camera now. It's all happening up here, and he's just on his way in to join Nathan, and we'll be with them in just a moment. But back to the racing. What a race we've just seen. And I'm just looking at that power data thinking, wow, and the level and how much it's sustained. I am in absolute awe of everybody who raced tonight and how close was that finish. Now, they're readying themselves in there, so I'm going to hand over now to Nathan.
All right, here we are with Gavin Dempster. Absolutely amazing result. And, you know, I mean, we painted you guys a little bit of an underdog, you know, and after watching all the racing, we had Tim Cartwright and the others up at the front here. I mean, are you ecstatic right now? Was your expectation to win this thing?
Yeah, I can't really believe that. I knew going in that at the start of the race I was going to suffer. I knew that. I knew the harder it went and the longer it went, the more chance I had. And yeah, halfway through the race when you started seeing like Tim and Kim getting dropped, that's when I thought, I've got a chance here.
Oh, man. And so let's run through that just a little bit then. I mean, you didn't go for the sprints, it looked like. It looked like that was off the cards for you.
No, I was hanging on.
Yeah, got you. Hanging on, playing it smart, reserving energy.
Well, just hanging on. I wasn't really trying to reserve energy.
Just hanging on. Well, then, was it the kind of race where you started feeling better as it went on then?
Yeah, the longer it went on, the better and better I felt.
That's awesome.
The last lap I went into knowing that I knew I had a shot in the sprint.
Oh, those are the best races. Those are always the best races for sure. Now, it looks like you got a little bit of a take-home here. They got these awesome, this thing's pretty cool, man. You've got Scotland represented here, Gavin Dempster, man. Absolutely amazing here. And so let's go over the sprint then, though. You know, we talked a little bit about the tactics going through. You were just hanging on. When the sprint was coming in, you knew you might have a chance at it. Was that on purpose, hanging in the wheels like that, or did it just play out that way?
On the first part of that sprint, on the first section, you need to be on the wheels. If you hit the front, it's too early. So I knew going into that, if I could be on the wheels and be second or third wheel on the flat section before the second kick, that I had a chance.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw, actually. You were always first, the second, or third wheel. Was it like on purpose, I'm never falling behind third wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you can react to what's going on around you, and you know.
All right, I got to ask then, is that also a tactic you take into real life racing similar, and you're like, huh, or is it, how different is that to what you would do on one or the other?
I'm usually never there for a sprint in real life race. I'm not a sprinter.
It's amazing. So this is pulling out a whole new talent for you. It seems like here. If you're gonna take a sprint in a live final like this.
The only races I do well in are the races where there's a handful of you left. It's like a race of attrition. That's all I'm good at. So yeah.
So one last thing.
The longer and harder it is, the better.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seemed like, and that's what I want to talk about here. Is the one last thing about. You were off the front like 2 or 3 times. Like, what was going through your head? Were you actually trying to stick those, or was it like, I'm just off the front and I just got to kind of hang out here and wait for it to come back?
I could see Tim dropping back through the group and surging up as if he was going to attack. So I figured there was points in the course that I thought he was going to attack. So I thought if I can get off the front, I might be there with him when he goes. And it turned out that all it done was put him into trouble, and he ended up dropped, so yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually a counterattack, I think, from you that made that happen. It was either you or Vidar that actually made that drop happen.
Yeah, I thought he was going to, I thought someone else, I knew when it all came back together, somebody had to go, so I thought, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure, and that's what made it happen.
You've got to counter if somebody comes back into the group, you've got to counter straight away, so yeah. make it as hard as possible. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, so now you've got a Tacx Neo coming home with you, it looks like, and a lifetime of Zwift. Obviously, you're going to be Zwifting for a while now.
Yeah.
So it looks like, let's go ahead and take a quick look at a few numbers here. I mean, we've been doing this with all the podiums actually here, and we've got a 4.3 watts per kilogram for the duration. Now, is that a little bit of a calmer race for you actually than what you've seen usually at home?
That's a bit normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're seeing about 4.3, 289 or so on the wattage there for that. And BRT, they got to be happy. Were you getting any in-game messages or anything throughout the race?
There was tons of ride-ons. I could see them during the race. So yeah.
Yeah, and BRT, they got to be pretty proud. Were you getting a lot of messages before the race and everything from the Bolt Racing team and everything?
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully they're all happy. I seen Rob Bolt, and that gave me ride-ons through the race. So I noticed that. So yeah, they'll be happy.
BRT's got to be super happy with the whole situation. All right, it looks like we're going to be handing off, though. Congratulations. Amazing result. That was one of the most exciting and probably one of the most intense races out on Zwift that you've ever experienced, I would think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely most intense. Well, congratulations on your result. Amazing job, Gavin.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, back over to Rebecca.
Thank you, Nathan. Now, I love having that rider insight because just looking along the rider faces, everyone's so different. Some are so remarkably calm, while others are rocking a little bit more. But it fascinates me how calm everyone looks on the whole, as I certainly wouldn't be. Now, I'm looking around and I'm seeing a few riders grabbing a beer, which is very, very well deserved. But one person that's still on the water is Vidar, our second place rider. Here he is now with Nathan.
Vidar Mail coming out of Norway. Amazing result for him. I talk a lot about this guy because he's close to my heart with mountain biking, as a lot of you guys know. And am I right about that? You do some serious mountain biking in real life.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Mountain bike marathon.
Okay.
Not exo, just longer distance and real steady pacing.
And you use Zwift then for training for that as well?
I use it in the winter time for training. It's 1 meter with snow there living in Norway, so not so good for terrain biking.
Yeah, I would think so. I know I do see a lot of the Norwegian flags out there, and you did them did your country super proud today. Second place. What was your expectations coming into the event?
I knew it will be hard because it's so much sprinting, but I know I have a good sprint, so I tried to go for all the sprint jersey and the finish, but in the end, on the final sprint, I had a really pain in the hamstring, so I feel the sprint jersey took too much power, but just have to try.
Yeah. Well, you did very well.
Thank
You ended up taking it down with the overall, I believe, in the classification, the Prince Cup classification, correct?
Yeah, second in the sprint jersey.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty good take-home here. First
almost
overall
everything.
with the sprint jersey. Almost both.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty amazing result there for sure. You get to take home a little bit of a reminder. Where's that going to go in the pain cave?
In the pain cave, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Keeping that up there as a motivation at all times, I would think. Let's give a shout-out to KISS Racing. I mean, you've been doing KISS Racing for a long time.
Yeah.
When did you start doing all this, and, how has that affected your racing and cycling?
I think the Swift training and giving me more, I don't know, I can, instead of just workouts and steady pace or this is giving me more the muscle, it's more like outside and driving.
Yeah.
So I think it's much more accurate for real-time cycling.
Yeah.
So I can push the limits much more on the races. So I think it's just positive everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing that we were talking about. We kept on hyping this up as some of the most intense racing you'll experience out on Zwift. Did you feel like it just was more intense than that? Like, we came through 10 races. Those were super intense and a lot of pressure, but we didn't have the eliminations. We didn't have the points competition, so it seemed like it kept on coming at you over and over again.
Yeah, this is much harder, and it's only 10 riders, so you just have not the blub, so you can't feel back and recover. You just have to go. So it's much harder. And I think this is event way you can try to have often in the series too, not just in the final.
Yeah.
I think it will be more fun actually.
Yeah, it would be. Hopefully we can see that in the future. We did see Eric Min up here chatting a little bit about that.
I think that's a good plan.
it'd be pretty exciting for sure.
Yeah, it's in a event in just finish sprints. You can stay in the blob all the way and just go for the sprint. And this way you have a much harder races and better training as well.
Yeah, for sure, that's for sure. So, all right, well, it looks like we're going to get into our next one. Second place overall. You won the sprint competition as well. Amazing job. We look forward to seeing you more out on Zwift with competitions to come. Always good to see you out there, Vidar. Great job today.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go back on over to Rebecca.
Thank you, Nathan and Vidar. The insight just keeps on coming, and so do the fantastic guests. That's one of the amazing elements of being live and interactive here with Zwift tonight and this grand finale. Now, I mentioned earlier that some of the riders looked quite calm out there, despite putting out a power output which was truly astonishing. One of those riders is just readying himself to join Nathan in the commentary box now, and I actually saw him adjust his hair and make sure he looked good for the camera halfway through, and absolutely phenomenal effort, taking him into third place. So let's hand back over to Nathan, and Tom is with him now.
Is that what that is? Hey, oh, right, we're here with Tom Hargreaves, the duck.
Hey.
I don't know if you saw, but Zwift was putting a bunch of ducks in the chat. That's what that was all about here. And Tom, amazing result out there. It looked like you were going to pull it off. You made an attack last second there. Yeah. You were off the front solo, but then Gavin timed it seemed like right with the draft there. What are you thinking right now?
It's just a constant reminder that racing on Zwift is a completely different skill set. I've been beaten by like everyone down there on numerous occasions because you hit the power up at the wrong time, or you kick for your sprint at the wrong time. And again today, I reckon I probably did the same thing. But fair play to those guys, because it was. The crowd all started screaming. I saw someone pop a power up, and I was like, okay, time to go. I was like, and then I got like 20 seconds later, I was like, oh, we're still this far from the finish line. And my aero power's run out. Maybe I shouldn't have hit that at that time, but it's been a lot of fun, so I'm happy.
Yeah. I can see you're smiling from ear to ear right now. Now let's talk a little bit about what was going on as far as how you were playing your cards throughout the tactics of the race. Right, yeah. So that was the final sprint. We saw how that played out. But you said you weren't going to go in for the preem, but then I saw you go for a preem.
Yeah, so I wasn't being entirely truthful when I said I wasn't going to go for the preems. And I'll say something now that I didn't say yesterday, which is that I raced today not for myself but for a charity. So a friend of mine and his wife, they lost their child. I think it was last year, perhaps the year before, and they now do a lot of work for a charity called the Little Roo Fund, which is for the neonatal intensive care unit at St Peter's Hospital in Chertsey. In about a month's time, we're doing a ride down to Von 2 from London and climbing Von 2, and that's all for the Little Roo Fund. So when I knew I was coming here and there was money potentially on the table, in the preems and at the finish, I wanted to do that to win some money to go straight to the charities. So with the points and with this, I'm just happy that I came away with something and that I can just give that money straight to the charity, because it's such a worthy cause, and what my friend Nico and Elle do for that charity is just incredible. So I'm disappointed not to have won, but I'm just so happy I've come away with something that can just go to that charity.
Yeah, and I know there's a huge cheers to you on that. I mean, the crowd hearing that, I can see a couple already actually clapping a little bit about that. So that's a really amazing cause. Great story there, what you were racing for. Causes bigger than ourselves are always the best to really be putting those efforts out there for the sacrifice in any arena of life, especially in that of sport, though, as well, when there's a physical one there as well. So that's going on in your mind while you're actually out there on the bike.
Yeah, there's that, and there's other things as well, like being next to Tim and just seeing him put down like 700 watts while seated. Suddenly it flashed up on screen like, I've got to go again. There's that. But no, in the back of my mind, it was always, and I told the guys who I'm doing this charity ride with yesterday, so I was thinking about that, about just getting something that can go to the charity, and I'm pleased I could do that.
So, okay, you were playing things out, for the preem, it looked like, to grab some cash there, throw that at the charity, and then there was the reality of what was playing out with Kim and Tim, and you've told me that they were to watch out for in our preview show. You definitely were keeping eyes on them. What was your thoughts going on when they went off the back? Did you think it was a game? Like, what were you thinking? Were things really hard at that point too? Because when things get really hard in a race, everybody feels it.
Yeah, it got hard. Tim attacked up the climb and the drag up to the finish. I think that put Tim at the back, and I guess it's understandable because he was really gunning for the preem, so he was probably feeling at that point. From what Tim said to me afterwards, I think maybe he miscalculated when the eliminations were. and miscalculated. There were a couple of people already off the back, and that he wasn't necessarily eliminated himself at that point. But in the moment, I thought he was dropping back to help Kim in a noble effort, but I don't
He
think
just
he
shook
was.
his head. He just shook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like it was, and then there was a counter from Vidar and Gavin, I believe.
Yeah, I think when you see someone like Tim go off the back, then you're not going to ease up, and no offense to Tim, you're not going to wait for him. So.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I mean, amazing results still, though. You ended up with third place. That's still amazing. You were in the, in the sprints as well with the preem. So great job out there, and we'll see you. Obviously, we see you all the time with the Zwift race, and I know I'm always getting messages, just so you guys know, from Zwift HQ about how much we make fun of me and Doc there actually in the races. So it's always great to see you out there racing, and congratulations today.
Thanks, man.
All right, I think we're throwing it back over to Rebecca, I believe.
Well, what a night of racing we've had here at Bespoke Cycling in the heart of London. Amazing efforts, thrilling finishes, heroic performances, and terrific entertainment here for the crowd who've joined us live tonight. We hope that you've all enjoyed watching us home as much as we did here, but we'll leave you now with the highlights of the evening and a brilliant climax to a great series of racing. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to Bespoke in London for the finals of the KISS Crit Series Europe.
We're here in London. We've made it.
They're going to be racing next to each other indoor. Is this the future?
Yeah, this event is amazing, and we see that indoor biking is not just about training anymore, it's about fun. And we see a lot more people joining, and I think a lot more people will join in the future.
They are off here right now.
These are some of the strongest female riders on Zwift.
One major factor tonight is going to be the live audience.
We're starting to hear a little bit of crowd out there. Can we hear the crowd a little bit, London? Make some noise. Pop now, still leading it out as he makes her way to the line. Still trying to make the chase. It's going to be Baldy. Here comes Cassie. Cassie trying to make the chase, but Kristen Falk across the line was able to make it happen.
Is there going to be a next one?
Well, absolutely. There'll be more of these for sure.
It's virtual power, but it's real life suffering. If you could see the faces live in the audience, as most can, they're dripping, they're soaking, they're trying, they're panting, they're trying to get air down, they're trying to get the heart rate down.
Dempster!
Oh
Dempster!
no! Is it gonna be?
Oh my gosh!
What?
Dempster!
One more!
Dempster's gonna do it! It's Gavin Dempster! Oh my goodness, with the upset! A smile, the reaction! Gavin Dempster is your KISS Crit KEU champion!